Hi, Antonia from Igodo, Lagos. Hi, Shegun from Lagos. Yeah, let's keep it coming. I know we are almost 100 in this group. Let's keep the comments coming. Your name and where you're joining us from. CSA will join us very soon. So let's keep the conversation going in the comments room. Hello, Gertrude from USA. Hello, did I get it right? Gertrude, yeah. Hi, Ololade from Ibadan. Hi, Oluwadamilola joining from Lagos. Hello, everyone. Etemore joining from Lagos. Oluwatomilola Adinlowa from Lake Ogun State. Wow, amazing. Hi, Olajumoke from USA. Good evening. Lape Lape from Germany. Hi, Jesam from Accra. Adikemi from Abeokuta. Chinedu from Escravos. Ijoma from Lasgidi. Yeah. Antonia from Lagos. Good evening, all. Yeah, Olayeme from Magodo. Nike from RCCG, Redemption City, Ogun State. Hi, I'm Leslie from Accra. Yeah, so good to have everyone here tonight. So the room is getting full. In fact, the room is full already. So let's keep the comments, room burning with our conversations. Thank you all for joining in tonight. And believe you me, you are about to have the best time of your life tonight, right? Because you are going to be hearing from Coach Shola Adeshakin herself and Gospel Obeli, right? And we are so glad to have you all here tonight. We are so glad to have you because you're going to be having insight into the financial outlook for the year, what you should know, how you should run your finances. I mean, your mind is going to be opened up like with the wisdom that you're going to be getting tonight. So I hope you are with your jotter, your notepad, on your phones. You're going to be jotting the things um that you would need to run through 2025. Remember, CSA said something on our Instagram that 2025 is a full year. It is a green, right? It is a year of green lands and fruitful trees. Green lands and fruitful trees. So I look forward to the abundance and the increase that God has for each and every one of us. So tonight, I want you to, open up your mind, have your jotter. Remember, don't say, oh, I'm going to remember later. And then you just don't remember what you wanted to put down in your notepad or your jotter. So let's get ready to receive CSC tonight as she comes up to, encourage us all. But before CSA comes up, I just want you to write it in a jotter or your notepad. One specific thing that, you would like to see. We call it financial outlook, right? So if we call it a financial outlook, it means
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Please confirm you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, please. Apologies for the glitch. Let me know if you can hear me. YouTube, can you hear me? Zoom, can you hear me? Blessings. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited that you're here. I think We're maxed out on Zoom at 100, like we said. And let me just check how YouTube is doing. How you all doing, wherever you're watching from? Sort of have an idea of what we're doing today. I'm going to put up a poll, right? Just tell me, I'm launching a poll. Please just fill out the poll. I really want to have an idea of where we're watching from tonight. Thank you. Brilliant. I see Nigeria, other African countries, United Kingdom, Canada, United States. Bless you, bless you, bless you. You are in for an amazing time tonight. Awesome. Those on YouTube, I'm not sure if you can sort of tell us where you're watching from, but please let us know in the comments. I know the people on Zoom are filling out the poll. Nigeria is taking the lead at 72%. Other African countries is 5%, United Kingdom 9%, Canada 9%, United States. Well done. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Can you still hear me, please? I believe so. The poll is going to go down in like 1 minute. So let us know. Let us see. Let us know. Let us see. Let us know. Bless you and thank you. Amazing, 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 amazing. Okay, I'm going to end the poll right now. So we can go. Let's share the results. Let's see. All right, Nigeria, 72%, African countries. Well done. I'm sorry, I think we omitted Europe. So let Europe, tag along with um, the UK. So for those who are in the waiting room, please go to YouTube. We just have provision for 100 people. So if you cannot get into the YouTube, into Zoom, please go on YouTube, right? I am going to just send a message so that I will just drop the link. I'll drop the link in one sec in the waiting room, as well as in the comments so that you can share with your friends. We are live on YouTube as well. So everybody, here you go with the YouTube. In case you get tossed out, you can just, share it with your friends. Thank you. Bless you. All right, we're good today. Please share, 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 share. Let's have an amazing time. I have a lot to share, obviously. Obviously, a lot to share about the year. And I'm really excited. And I have my friend and very intelligent economist, Gospel, who is going to come up later. He's going to give us the backbones of the global economy. But I am just going to give it to you very raw and practical. I have slides to share. I have a lot to share. And I'll try and go right into it so that we can make the most of today. How many people are excited to be here tonight, and what are your expectations? So quickly tell us before I launch in. If you're in the waiting room, I have sent the YouTube link so that you can be a part of it. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, yes, let's go. Let me see, expectations. Who can tell me what they're expecting tonight? The first 5 people, I'm going to read it out. What are you expecting from this webinar? And by the way, have I said Happy New Year? I'm not sure I've said Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. I love you. For those who are in the money challenge, I believe that your year has started on a very All right, we're going to be fine. Don't worry. There's a lot going on tonight, and it's going to be an amazing time. All right, thank you. Apologies, I got thrown out for whatever reason. I'm going to go on very powerfully. All right, let me know if you can still hear me. And yes, can you hear me, everybody? Can you hear me? Thank you. All right, so tonight we will be going into the outlook for the year. Like I already said, I'll be sharing a few things that will propel us and prepare us for the beautiful year that is ahead. For members of our communities, by now you should have sort of, had gotten a feel of how the year is going to be. It's a bright year. It's a wonderful year. It's amazing. It's packed. And at the Money Challenge, we have started on a very fast note. Now, let's try and start to unbundle the year, especially from the spiritual point of view. I know that a lot of us have gone to churches. In our churches, they have given us, the outlook for the year, the predictions, the prophecies, the promises, and the, personal word, the word of the church, the motto and the mantra for the year. But tonight we are going to look at things from the financial point of view. And I know we are going to have a really, 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 really great time. Gospel Obele is here. Before he comes up, I'm just going to share my bit, yes. And Gospel, just enjoy, sip your coffee, have quite a few things to share, and then I'll call you. You will bring it to us from the global dimension, right? And then we will take questions and answers. And for those who attend Smart Stewards webinars, you know how we do it. We might be here till 11, but it is always an amazing time. So I want to also make a request. If you can turn on your video, please do. I don't like to see just blank boxes. I can see Bomisho Quinto, or well done, well done, well done. Right? If you can turn on your video, why turn it off? Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2005. Don't let people organizing webinars beg and beg and beg to see our beautiful faces. So if you can turn your video on, turn it on. Let's have an amazing time together. So I'm going to be sharing my screen really quickly because if you leave me, I can go on with the intros. But I'm going to share my screen right now. I'm going to go into the meat of this conversation right away, right away, right away. Who is excited? I am really, really excited. It's going to be amazing today. All right, this is me, this is me, this is me. For those who are just meeting me for the first time, my name is Shola Adeshaki, lead coach and founder of Smart Stewards, and it gives me joy to be doing this. I really want to see people succeed with their finances. Up until recently, I thought I had that drive and that desire and that passion. But trust me, my passion to see you with your finances in 2025 is even 1000x. And listen, we are going to succeed. We are going to succeed. It's going to be mind-blowing. Your results this year will amaze you, right? And we're just going to have a totally, totally amazing time. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen so that we have an optimum. Yes, yes. So I think we're good. Now, Outlook 2025, well done. Before we start, I just wanted to let you know that the recipe for financial success is no secret. It's about consistent principles and not predictions. Again, like I said, in your church, in my church, we have received the word for the year. And if you can tell me in the comments what the word for the year in your church is, I'll be more than glad to read it out. I know in my church, it's the year of possibilities. I have received a lot of, the word for the year in my church is recovery, restoration, and all of those landmark year, anchor, divine health. I love it. I love those things, right? Brilliant, brilliant mantras and mottos. The year of greater, look at it, abundance of rain. But one thing that I thought to mention, because I was very intentional about observing the mantras in different churches, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And most of the things that they said were centered around the economy being hard. I don't know if any of you remember. Most of our pastors were saying, you have to flourish, but the economy is going to be hard. But one of the things that I personally received was that 2025 was going to be a very full year, packed year, where dreams will be realized, where fantasies, old dreams will come to life. And I told people, those who attend our What Whispers meeting, that listen, the atmosphere has shifted. And 2025 is going to be such an amazing and fruitful year that your results will amaze you. Now, it's not enough to receive those prophecies and those mantras. You have to put in the work. And that's why I said, listen, there's no secret to financial success. And this is coming from somebody who has been broke and battered in the past, whose life has literally transformed. My finances has gone like times 5 million X, right, from where I was coming from. It's no secret, right? It's not about prophecies and predictions. I'm not trying to undermine prophecies, but I am saying that the recipe for financial success is about consistent principles. You following principles. Some of the principles we are going to be sharing tonight, some of the principles we have been sharing on the challenge. Those on the challenge, let me see your thumbs up. I know I got thrown out earlier on when I asked. It's about principles, following principles, and literally seeing your results like change. So it's a packed year, it's a full year. You have to be rightly positioned. And this webinar and other things that we'll be doing at Smart Stewards throughout this year will, take you into those financial levels, and you would experience a massive shift. But I must say, well done, well done. I must say that before we go on, in spite of all of the positive words and mantras and prophecies that we have received, the naysayers will knock at your door as well, right? There will be predictions. Already they are flying around in spite of all the, very lovely mantras that we have discussed. By the way, our mantra, Smart Stewards, and at all our expressions is that 2025 is a year of green lands and fruitful trees. Green lands and fruitful trees. Do you see? So you would see me wear a lot of green, right? This year, I put up a post just before I came on this call, about 2 hours ago, saying that green is not my color. But one of my fashion designers, about 3 months ago, just said, "Ma, green looks good on you." I'm like, eh. And then not too long after that, a friend gave me about 5 different lovely dresses, all shades of green. I kid you not. And then many things started to happen. Green, green, green. I'm like, what is happening? And then when I started to prepare for the year, I started to see a lot of green, lush land, trees. And I'm like, oh, green, green, green seems to be what what this season is saying. So, and we all know that green stands for abundance, right? Anyway, back to the scriptures. I have so much to share with you. My heart is full. But hey, if there's anything you pick out of this webinar tonight, be assured that 2025 is your year. Listen, your results will amaze you. Anyway, you will hear unpleasant news as well in 2025. Hear that the media thrives on negativity, right? Remember that markets and people recover. So you will hear a lot of, this has fallen, that is falling, Olympia is falling, White House is falling, Africa is falling. You will hear such things, okay? But please focus on your journey, focus on the promises and the personal mantras that you have received. Again, there'll be unpredictable events. Things will happen around the world. I mean, many of the things that have happened in the past are things we never anticipated. But listen, there will also be unpredictable events. But focus on resilience, again, not just on predictions and what people say. Again, in 2025, there'll be hot deals. There's that year that there's always something new. There was a year it was MMM. There was a year it was Loom. There was a year it was, people will come with different things. Oh, this year, something is happening. You're going to get 300 or 500%. Oh, this is a deal. Listen to me. Each time you hear the word deal, if you belong to the Smart Stewards community, come and ask before you get carried away. Are you with me? Please give me vibes in the comments. Let me know you are hearing me. When you hear the word deal, before you deal, run to the community to come and ask. Don't get carried away by the deal, the hot deals, right? Don't forget, stick to your goals. Consistency, brilliant, beats speculation. So again, don't forget that I said you have heard a lot of positive mantras. You will continue to hear a lot of positive mantras. But in spite of all of that, you will still hear some negative things because media thrives on negativity. Now, what are some of the things you should also know? Personal finance is personal. So you have to create a strategy tailored to your goals. If you're in the money challenge, we have spent like 2 days deep diving into visualizing your future and setting your goals. How many people can attest to that fact? And I read the testimonials of those who have been going through that challenge. I'm like, wow, I am inspired myself, right? So personal finance is personal. Don't forget that you have your goals, right? Create a strategy tailored to your goals, right? And there's no way to the answer. There's no shortcut. Somebody said, if you follow shortcuts, your journey will be cut short. I agree in the world of personal finance. Listen, there is no math escape. Discipline and delayed gratification remain key. So I'm just trying to prepare your mind. Again, gospel, stay with us tonight. Just sip your coffee. We're coming back to you, but please let me just unburden my heart to this great community of millionaires and billionaires in the making. Can I quickly share something? It's quite personal. How many of you want to hear what I want to quickly share? It's a personal thing, but I just want to encourage your faith. I won't give you the full details, but I was talking to somebody so dear to me. I don't want you to start to guess. And he said, Shola, this year you have grace to raise millionaires and billionaires. Wow. I'm like, what? That is heavy, heavy, heavy. Let me not say more. Connected to us in any way as smart stewards, trust me, this is your year. Maybe one day, I will be able to share the full details, but there is a mandate this year. And let me see the millionaires and billionaires coming out of this whole, smart stewards community and all our expressions. Let me see your yay in the comments. We are a community of people going places. It's a prophecy, it's powerful. And like I said, your results will be amazing this year. And of course, I am one of the billionaires. I am one of the billionaires. So Smart Stewards is literally churning out billionaires, posters in marketplaces, multi-millionaires in dollars this year. Right, let's go on. Listen, success in 2025, I haven't even started my slides, isn't just about knowing the future, but following time-tested principles. So I am oscillating between, yes, there are prophecies or there are, mantras, but I am also making you realize that those things without you following the principles will not work. If there's a prophecy and all you do is to pray, you're not taking actionable steps, you're missing it. And that's why on that challenge, every day after on the resource page, the resource platform, there is an action step. There is an action step to carry out. So I love the prophecies, I love the predictions, I love the promises, but there must be tested principles because life is run by principles. So I wanted you to also realize that and remember that as you go on. So this is not about hyping things or making you feel high. Yes, I want you to feel high, but at the same time, I want you to adopt the principles that will transform your life. Can I pause at this point to say, If you have any friend that should be on this webinar, get them into YouTube, because what we're sharing tonight will change your life and it will transform your journey. Well done. I see the person. Oluwabumi said, yeah, billionaire Oluwabumi Lola Oluwakemi Shokwito. I love it. Faith says my result will be amazing. I will be a multi. You are not, I will be, I am already a multi-billionaire. Do you see? So I'm going ahead, I'm going ahead, I'm going ahead. So much to share. Again, let's take it back to the world of projection. Oh, International Monetary Fund, this and that. They said. As you can see on my screen, yes, I have some projections that I have struck them out. Even though I'm still going to touch on them. And why have I struck out these projections? Why did I strike them out? I will read them later. Because Gospel O'Bailey, the fantastic economist, is going to come and talk to us in due time when I'm done about those projections and what they mean for personal finance. So I'm not going to go deep into that. I'm just going to be sharing personal principles that will elevate your life so that when it says all of those things at the global and the national levels, you can pick that intelligence and that information and you can add it to the personal principles I'm going to be sharing with you to make your millions and billions in dollars. Listen, some of you are going to experience the kind of money you have never experienced this year. Again, I'm not hyping you. It's about following the principles. And of course, you know that we are a faith-based organization. We operate at the level of prophecies, but we also operate on principles. Some of you, the first 1 million, that's where you're starting from. You will see it in your bank account. Some of you, the first 10 million. Some of you, the first 100 million. Some of you, the first 1 billion, right? You will see it in your account. And this is not high. It's going to happen. Right, so gospel is going to come back to tell us about some of these current trends. I will touch on a few of them, right? So that it doesn't look like, oh, CSA she just wants to give us the practical, because my presentation tonight is also hinged on some of those projections, because we must follow the money. And we can't follow the money if we do not know where the economy is headed. So gospel is coming to tell us about those things. But before then, let's go on. There are 6 sectors that we all should focus on, because again, when we say we're becoming millionaires and billionaires, how should we position and reposition ourselves? You know that quote that says it is literally insanity to be doing the same thing and you're expecting different results. I need you to hit me in the comments, both on YouTube, right? And both on Zoom. If anything resonates with you, just type it out. I want to see the comments flowing. I want to see the comments flowing. And I hope on YouTube tonight we will get to 10,000 subscribers. I think by now we're at about 9,800. Make it happen tonight so that we have at least 200 people joining us tonight. All right. So did I stop sharing my screen? What can you see on my screen, please? Let me see. Can you still see my screen? Let me know in the comments. Pio, I see you. Can you see my screen? What can you see on my screen? All right, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So you can see my presentation slides, right? Please confirm. All right, awesome. On Zoom, my slide. Brilliant. Now, what are the sectors to look at and how do we position ourselves for these millions and billions that we're expecting? Did some research here and there. There are 6 key sectors that will drive Nigeria's economic growth. And listen, if you look at the map of Africa, Nigeria is, there's a way we explain it. The whole map looks like a gun. And the Nigeria is positioned at where you pull the trigger. Why am I saying this? I am aware that people from Cameroon, Ghana, Uganda on this call, and some on our challenge. We have people from 60 countries. right? Interacting with our resources. Some people will watch this replay. But listen, what happens in Nigeria is very pivotal, is very important. I'm not saying what is happening in your country is not important, all around the world. But because this is where I am, even though I'm a global citizen, I will take some of those things that are happening and I will use them as examples to drive home the things that are happening. And listen, what happens in one country applies to all the other countries, even though in different dimensions. So 6 sectors, oil and gas would remain upbeat, right? Despite the expected moderation in global energy prices. I want us to take note of the agriculture sector. It's important. And I'm going to dive into that in a bit. Agriculture sector. How many people operate in the agriculture sector right now? Let me see. Agriculture sector. Very important. Let me see in the comments. The consumer goods sector, right, remains cautiously optimistic as well, with several domestic and global challenges. But hey, if you look at what happened for those who live in Lagos, Nigeria, this last Christmas, it was a total shift, such that a lot of people who live abroad came home, right? And it seems as if Nigeria became, or Lagos to be precise, became the center of tourism. How many of you saw that trend? Please let me see your comments because I can't see. I don't know what's happening with my presentation. But can you see my slides? And yes, right. So you see the many things happening. You see the many things happening, and there will be an increase in consumer goods. Listen, a friend of mine that works in a global bank in Nigeria, they wanted to do their year-end party. They tried to book a hall. They made an attempt late. And they said there were no halls available, or there are no halls available till the end of January. All halls are booked. How many of you went for parties this Christmas? Anywhere in the world? Tell us how it was. You know, I kept saying, and people kept saying, hey, and they say there's no money in Nigeria. They call it, I just got back. Oh, the screen is split into two. Okay, so let me stop sharing so that I can share it properly. I see you. I would reshare it so that you can see it properly now. How about now? Is it better? It should be better now. Right. They call them the I just got back. Is it better? Is my screen better now? Yes, brilliant. Brilliant. So they call them the I just got back. Listen, Lagos was beaming with activities. Lagos was beaming with activities. It just shows you that the times and seasons are changing everywhere. Let home, where are you from? What country are you from? Lagos was full. And he said there's no money. He said there's this and that, that, and this. Right? The consumer goods sector will continue to try. Actually, by next year, December, I remember Governor Sanwo-Olu saying that they're working on a project and they're going to launch a 10,000, if I'm right, capacity hall for tourism or for Lagos or an event center by next December. So if you're hearing things like that, what is it saying? Where's the money going? Who are the people benefiting from it? Listen, caterers. Another friend of mine was trying to get a caterer for a job early January this week. They said, no, the caterer said they are full. They don't even have, their hands are full. So you see event planners, you see caterers, right? You see those selling food stuff. Now, when you listen to things like that, it should just start to tell you where the money is going. No, people spent money in unprecedented manners. I have a friend who was saying she has another friend who had parties to go every day. So makeup artists, photographers, do you see? Consumer goods sector. They're going on. The industrial goods sector as well, because if Lagos State says that we're building a 10,000 capacity, who is partnering with them? Thank you, fashion designers. Who is partnering with them? builders, contractors, quantity surveyors. Of course, our Governor Sanwo-Olu, likes to be on social media. Elumelu likes to be on social media. You see the digital boys, the tech boys. It's a whole collaboration of different sectors. And we are going to see an increase in that trend this year. The banking sector as well. All of these monies, people are not putting the money under their mattresses, right? So things are literally exploding, and there'll be a spillover in all of the sectors. And the telecom sector as well. So it's a dynamic mix of many things happening. And if you have stayed a long time with us as smart stewards, you know I say that we are global citizens. So this is not about, oh, yeah, she's talking to those in Nigeria. I'm in the UK, I'm in Canada. The question is, how are you collaborating? Who are you collaborating with? We're going to go there. So let me not dwell on this because gospel is going to come. I wanted to share this very important, and I want you to screen grab it. The 2025 focal points and where the money is going and how you should follow the money. Right? First thing, agriculture. Already mentioned it briefly. The second thing is digital transformation, tech bros, taxis, content creation, coding, content management, social media management, executive assistants, virtual assistants. Ha, people, are you listening to me? Can you give me more examples of digital skills, that ecosystem and things that are happening? Now, this is not a time where you say, I don't understand. You must fit in. You must fit in. I was listening to my mentor recently, and he was talking about the different ages and how money has evolved over the years, agricultural, industrial, the tech. And then he talks about, of course, artificial intelligence. And then he says we are in the age of integrated intelligence, where there's AI and there's partnerships and all of those things. Everybody here, the projection and the focal points I shared last year, if you can remember, is different. Last year, I also gave you a quadrant where the money is. But listen to me, watch out for these things. And you must start to think of how to practice and to fit in into these 5 areas. Agriculture. If you can't plant at the back of your house, who are you collaborating with? Yeah, I know there are stories that taught you that, but we need to revisit. We need to revisit those dreams. Don't forget, one of our mantras and watchwords is that all dreams will come back to life. Agriculture, digital transformation. Please, what tech skills do you currently have? Or what tech skills can you learn? How are you leveraging AI, my sisters? Copywriting. I said, give me examples. Oh, I can't fill these comments tonight. Oh, are people sleeping? Data analysis. Thank you. Project and project managers, product and project managers, cybersecurity, social media managers, copywriters. Listen, AI will make a lot of people redundant. So you must understand the trend. If you don't want to be redundant, you must operate at a higher level, whereby you will become almost indispensable because there's nobody that is indispensable. 3D animations, brilliant. Listen, I did my slides tonight by myself. It took me like 1 hour, but it was a combination of many things. Canva, this and that, editing, rishi. Don't say I'm too old, though. Some of you are 32 and said, it's the Gen Z and the Gen A. They are the ones that understand it. It's actually, as we are going older, ancient of days. How old are you? Actually, coach, whether you are 50 or 60 or 70, this is an age where you must understand and key in digital marketing. Thank you. Somebody said digital twin. Ah, what that one means, so tell me. Digital transformation consultants. Thank you. 3D animations. Okay, we'll come back to that. I'm going to read some of those things. Consumer goods, I already talked about it. How are you keying in? And how are you partnering? What are you selling? E-commerce, right? And then number 4, industrial infrastructure gaps, like I said. How are you working with the government? Either to execute their contract or to get grants and help them execute their projects. I can't even bundle all of these things. I'm sure this is a call that I will do like 2 or 3 times. But, and maybe within the challenge, would expand on it more. And then strategic partnerships. I get it. Some of you are like, coach, scrum master, machine learning. Thank you. Chinedu, lovely to see you on this call. Well done. Alaide Ogumade, my sister in Canada, well done. I'm seeing a lot of old faces. I love it. Well done. So if you're saying, cool, no, I'm not, I really don't know how these things work. How are you leveraging strategic partnerships? If I stay on this screen, we will not go. But I am saying, please follow the money. Don't follow your excuses this year. Follow the money. Let me read through some of those things, and then I will share the 7 Fs. Then we'll go ahead. Agriculture. I said, what are the opportunities? Wherever you are, Cameroon, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya. By the way, this year we're coming powerfully for you guys. We're a big community and nobody gets left behind. So wherever you're watching this from, agriculture, anywhere in the world, tap into local and regional demand for agricultural produce. And some people may not do the physical bit. You might just be a tech person driving that ecosystem. You might be a distributor, right? You might be somebody who is using e-commerce to connect the farmers and the buyers. You might just be a support system within that ecosystem. What I'm saying is agriculture can never go out of fashion. Explore agri-tech solutions to enhance yield and profitability. Engage in value-added processing, raw materials into packaged goods. Some of you can actually do private labeling for those who already are in the agricultural space. So somebody is doing maybe locust beans, dry Iru that they go to harvest. They're already selling it. And then you tell them, can you package for me as well? And just put my brand. You are in that ecosystem already. I have a friend, I've known her, it's going to be 20 years this year. She's been doing Ori, she's a banker. Very well to do. Brilliant, amazing, top treasury person. She still sells Ori. My son was going back to school today. I brought out the Ori. Aha. So how are you going to work with those who are already in those sectors? So I'm not saying go and plant something at the back of your house. I'm saying think. Catfish. Somebody is packaging catfish. Tell them, can you package and put my label? You already have NAFDAC. Let me push for you. Plug yourself in. So some of the actionable points under agriculture: start small, invest in backyard farming. A friend of mine just like play. Last year she told me, went to her house, I saw the pots and everything. This year, the harvest, tomatoes, this and that. It's amazing. Collaborate, partner with larger agri-businesses for supply chain inclusion, upskill. Some of you, the way you will operate in the agricultural sector ecosystem is consulting and teaching. So you may decide to teach farmers. You know, in this day and age, somebody says, I just harvested yam that I'm here to finish. Send some to me. In this day and age, some people say, I read zoology in school, I read farming. And because you have worked in a bank for 15 years, you think your farming is outdated or is useless. Please, right? So agriculture, all of these 5 areas that I've mentioned, fit yourself in somehow. Let me move on quickly. Digital transformation. Please leverage tech. Embrace tech. All sectors, despite FX challenges, continue to grow in user demand. Digital tools will remain critical across sectors. There's money, there's no money. These days, do you know what content creators earn? I flew on a private jet, I think it was 1.5 years or 2 years ago now. And as we landed, right, there were some people waiting to fly on that particular jet. Somebody walked up to me, gave me his card and said, "Oh, I am the content creator for so person." Actually, Tony Elumelu, young guy. I'm like, really? So we got talking. I said, how do you? He said, I travel with him everywhere he goes. Private jet, on private jet, Paris, London. I don't really want to land that kind of a job. Right. And then our parents 50 years ago, we said, what is content creation? Let me not belabor that point. Banks will continue to need tech people. There's somebody looking at me, his bank, they showed us Shaggy earlier this year. Last year, rather. Shaggy. In fact, I swore that I will never use that. But I don't know what they have used on me. They have me on chokehold. I'm still with them, but I've opened other banks. Right? Business owners, digitize your business. Create a strong online presence. Have e-commerce platforms. In our communities, there are people, young people who are looking to help you provide content management or whatever for your business. Freelance services, offer digital skills, web development, social media management, educate yourself. Let me move on fast. Talking about the consumer goods, niche and localized products, right? Consumer spending patterns are shifting towards essential and locally produced goods due to inflation. How many of you agree? Where are the fashion designers in the house? This is your time. Listen, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I would buy my dresses, buy my shoes, buy my everything from so abroad. My sisters and my brothers, since FX started to go up like this, what have we done? We have started to patronize our own. And listen, our own are doing us proud. Please, where are the fashion designers in the house? You deserve a round of applause. These guys are doing amazing. What does that mean? FX is also flowing into Africa because people are coming from the abroad to come and patronize people in Africa. Do you see? Do you have to be a tailor, a fashion designer? No, I tell people, get a good fashion designer, work with them, let them private label for you, let them put your own brand on it. You go and market it. You think they won't be happy? As long as you pay them, what do they want? Is it not money? They have their own brand, you have your own brand. That's part of the strategic partnerships that we are talking about. I didn't say GTBO, who is the person? So in case GTB wants to partner with me this year, I'm just reading the comments. Listen, whether by private labeling, whether you're a tailor, whatever it is, whether you are selling a direct, whatever it is, people are shifting towards locally made goods. So we must latch on those opportunities. Essential. Air. Like people are literally coming from abroad to come and buy Malia hair. Adefunke's signature hair. My sisters and brothers, we must not sleep on these things. Be unique. Carve out a niche in culturally significant or artisanal products. I remember when I went to the US earlier this year, I went with I just thought of some souvenirs to take. So I went with diaries, purses, earrings that were made with adire. If you give me 1 minute, remind me before this call is over, I will come and show you samples. Oh my God. I gave it to everybody that I met. They were so happy. They loved it. Do you want me to show them to you? Yeah, we know these things now. I'm sure you must have seen them. I will probably look for one or two examples, two of them and show you. Get somebody who can do it. Buy it from them. Label it. Adiwe bags, Adiwe shoes, Adiwe traveling bags. Gosh, let's not sit on these things, right? Make your prices also very affordable. What I'm just showing you are those 4 or 5 things that I said. I'm just providing explanations. And then I'll start to go into the last set of things and I'll bring up gospel. Industrial and infrastructural gaps. Remember that I said that the government, right? Victoria says she sells Ankara earrings and accessories. This comment session today is very, very quiet. These are people are writing. What's happening? Let me feel you, right? Remember I said that the government is also looking at partnering with individuals, partnering with small business owners. So there will be a demand for complementary services in logistics, construction, maintenance. What can you do? Start supporting businesses. Thank you. Somebody says they are writing. Start supporting businesses. Offer ancillary services like transport, repairs, equipment rentals. Invest in skills wherever you are in the world. Government is most times the largest spender anywhere in the world. Who are they giving their projects to? Who? These are individuals and small business owners. If someone who says, oh, we're building a 10,000 capacity hall, who are the people working? So if you are not able to get into the first line of vendors, how can you get in the second line of vendors? This is not about being a jack of all trades. It's about you positioning yourself by intelligence and plugging. You know, I said something in December and I said the entire cake, global cake for 2025 has been sliced and shared already. So if you have not even started planning for 2025, you are late, but you are not late. The question is, how can you get your own slice? Our president about 2 or 3 weeks ago presented a 40-something trillion budget. That money, they've awarded the contract. The question is, how are you positioning yourself? So be the bridge. Well, don't say government, they are too corrupt. If I don't like to work with government, there are people who still say that. Meanwhile, government is the largest spender in any economy, arguably. So how can you become a contractor? I know in Nigeria, they say they don't pay, they want kickbacks, they want, go and learn from people who have worked with them. Master, and it doesn't have to be, who says that you cannot serve Kenyan government from Nigeria? And you're in Kenya, who says you cannot serve the Nigerian government from Kenya? Everybody, every business, every government is looking for those who can give absolute value for good money. And people are looking everywhere. On my IVLP program, they said, oh, I come to Lagos to buy my materials. From where? Was it? I can't remember the country. And she says, oh, see, Mauritania. She brought out the address. She says, so this is how your address is different from ours. It's a global community. And then strategic partnerships. Affiliate market. There are some things you won't be able to do, but your money can do it for you. There are people's products you can sell for them. At the academy, we have an affiliate. Just a basic example. I've told you how, in recent years, I have sold products for organizations. I have sold tickets for Waka Now, sold tickets for Travel Start. People have sold academy membership for us. We have paid them. People have very fast-moving products. How can you partner with them? Growing e-commerce and digital platforms provide immense opportunities for referrals. Joint ventures, pulling resources together. Cross-promotion. So we are both fashion designers. I do this, you do that. How can we work together so we can cross-promote? I do hair, you do makeup. How can we cross-promote ourselves? That's how it works. strategic partnerships, knowledge and resource sharing. Or I have a training. I'm going to be sharing on HR. Oh, can I come and talk on personal finance? Or can I come and talk on business finance? Can I come and talk on mental health? Some of you have friends who are always training. You guys say, you are training again today. Okay, have fun, enjoy. You cannot say, hey, lady, let's do it together. Let you talk on this, I talk on that. We split the fees. Community-based collaborations. These are the things that will give you those millions. Those 5 things. We will unbundle them as the year goes by, but I just wanted you to sort of embrace these things and see how you will be leveraging them. Leveraging them. I'm going to share the 7 F's. I will tidy it up, tie things up around here. Yeah, Ijoma says I train on retirement planning. Love it. Are you learning something? Is it making sense? Are you right? Those on the challenge, we have not even started talking about how to increase your income. We're still doing mindset, goal setting. By the time we hit the sweet spots, some of you will buy me cars this year. I kid you not. Some of you will buy tickets and say, Coach, just go to Mauritius. Just go and cool down. My life has transformed. We are barely 3 days. Can you see the things and the testimonials that people are writing and putting on that group? Gosh. This year, now a year. Now we get this year. Stewards. Amazing. Right. So having shared the areas to look into, let's start these practical things. And then gospel will come up and then we will take questions. But let me know if you are picking 1 or 2 things and you are having light moments. Don't forget, you can still share the YouTube link. You can take snapshots, right? Screen grabs, tag me on Instagram, tag Smart Stewards on Instagram. Let's keep the conversation going. These are conversations. In fact, the more I speak about, I'm rushing through a lot of things. The more I speak about, the more even my heart is enlarged. Like, we must not sleep on this money. We must not sleep on these things. 7 F's, yes, that's why. Sorry, 7 F's I meant. 7 F's. So you can see them on my screen. I'm just going to go through them. Number 1, your field. Remember, we are talking along the lines of green lands and yes, fruitful trees. So I thought to sort of drill down and just put my points around those things. Your field. Yes, you're going to become a millionaire, billionaire. We have examined the sectors where the monies will be flowing. What do you then do? These are the 7 things you must realize and embrace. Number 1, your field, your work. The work you do is what will bring you the wealth. The work that you do will bring you the wealth. So identify your field of focus, your career, your business, your product. In Genesis 1, God introduced us to work. Listen, many people think that Adam started to work after the fall when God sent him out of the garden. No. When God created Adam, everything was complete. He put him in the garden to tend the garden. Work is divine. Don't think you can sleep or, bamboozle your way into prosperity. It is not God's agenda. Work is what? Work is divine. And that is the platform, that is the vessel through which God will bless you. So what is your career? Earlier today, I think on the challenge, we talked about legacy wealth, writing out your purpose, what you've been called to do, and all of that. You need to learn to diversify your skills to increase your income streams. And you must be consistent. The smell of your field will bring blessings. The smell of your field will attract people. And the action tip that I want you to do as you're listening to me. Write down 3 ways to increase your earning potentials in 2025. Your field must be blessed. You can't slip your way into prosperity. No, not at all. No, it won't happen. Do you see? You cannot slip yourself into prosperity. Work is important. Right. So write down 3 things that you're going to do. And please join the challenge because we're going to be breaking these things down and how you can embrace and adopt skills, practical skills that can increase your potential. So tend to your field. There's a proverb that says, give heed to your field or something like, I can't remember where it is. If you can find it, just post it for me. Your field is your work, your career. Don't take it, no, don't be nonchalant about it. Tend your career, tend your work. If you're a small business owner, tend it, with it. Take away complacency, take away anything that is not making it grow. If customers have been complaining, take those things away because that's what God is going to bless. And He has put you in that garden to tend it. So when some people have this funny belief about work, like work is not supposed to be hard like this. Or work was because Adam sinned. No. God established work before Adam sinned. So that's the first F. Your field is important. Are we together? And as you tend your field, there will be fruits. What you do with the fruits will matter. So for example, you're a business owner, you produce something, smoked chicken, whatever it is. I don't know why smoked chicken is coming to my mind because I'm hungry. You're serving customers and doing this. As you make the money, what do you do with the fruits? How do you use your time? How do you manage your time? And how do you strike a balance so that you're not just working, and you're not resting? Remember, even God epitomized rest. On the 7th day, He did what? He rested. So that you can enjoy the things and the proceeds from the field. Everybody that works hard deserves their reward. So I said, allocate time and resources wisely to bear fruit in 2025. Please review your work. Some of you need to resign. Some of you need to go and look for a job. You're a small business owner, but the thing is not jiving. You need to go and apply. Today is not the time to go into that. Some of you need to discontinue some products. Some of you need to reassess. I was talking with my friend earlier today, and we are talking about our gym instructor who, amazing guy. He's been working. I joined about 2 years ago. Really good guy. He would not miss a day. But in the last 3 weeks, he's been here and there. Obviously, he got a bigger job where there were more people, more serious people who were serious. But sometimes just 1 or 2 of us. And we went to see him at that new place today. He was looking so happy. I told my friend, I said, it's a new year. He has a right to review, to reassess. How much are you giving him? He had to reassess that if I go here, I will probably work with just 2 people and I will make the same money that these other people will be giving me. For some of you, you need to reassess what you are doing. Some things that are taking your time and they're just so unnecessary. Right, let me go to the third F, and it's about formation. Remember, I'm sharing the 7 Fs rather. I talked about field, I've talked about nurturing your food, not eating everything, right? We'll unbundle that later. But again, we are talking about collaboration, strategic partnerships. My sisters, my brothers, this is a massive year for collaboration. Massive. That's what we are pushing within our communities at Smart Stewards. Massive year. Thank you, Ijoma. She says, I really like the part of the smell of your field will bring you blessings. I'm rushing through my slides. I wish I had time. This summer, I would like to teach for 5 hours and give you proper examples. But we'll do that some other time. Please collaborate with individuals, organizations that align with your vision. If you look at the picture on the screen, I was intentional to put two trees together. Except for the trunk, you will think that it is one tree from this angle. Listen, this is not a time where you say, I must take the credit, I must take credit, I did the most work. Most work. Can you see Jennifer Funke Akindele and all the people she has worked with in producing her latest movie? Look at Lai, who is a skit maker on his own, successful guy. Look at Fowles, singer, barista. Look at Bisola Yola. Look at all of them. In fact, these days I have to ask my friend, this Auntie Jennifer and Fowles, what's happening now? Somebody said it's hype. If they keep you guessing, you do most. So you are glued to their page. Are they dating? Are they not dating? What's happening? How many of you feel like that? People are not Africans. Don't. Sorry, we must learn from the things that we see. Network intentionally to gain mentorship resources and opportunities. Don't be parasitic. Don't be a user. Right? But formation, the right formation. Build strategic partnerships. The action tip for this one is identify two potential mentors or collaborators to approach. I know some people will be in my DM. You said we should come and collaborate. I don't have a problem. But don't just come in my DM and be saying things that we will say, hello, ma. Hello, ma. Hello, ma. I will just block you away. Right? And don't come and say you want collaboration and asking me for money. You say, ma, this thing I want to do. Nobody has ever done it in this world. I need right now, I have about 5 million to execute. So somebody sent me a DM 2 days ago. I just laughed. Said I attend the University of Water. I want to pay my school. She said, in fact, the tone, really, you must have been the one that put money in my bank account. What did we call it? Strategic partnerships. What are you bringing? Some of us need to go and learn some of the terminologies we'll be using. Because some people lack tact. It's because they are Gen Z. Seriously? Hey, Bukola said, don't be dullard. After hello, strike a meaningful conversation. Thank you. On the challenge, I use my official line. I do not read messages on that line. Even though I've said, guys, do not message me. I will not answer. I will not read it. Some people will still come. Hello, ma. Bless you, ma. Bless you, ma. I'm on this challenge. I don't even read it because I have said I do not. There's a coordinator for the challenge, and that line is not mine. It's for the challenge. It's for my official duties. If you like, do hello, ma 20 times there, you not get a response. And you will come across as somebody who is not serious. Oluwabumi is taking us to another route now. She says, I do not think there's anything happening between Funke and Faust. They are simply collaborating as Jennifer and Shege. I love it. I love it. But listen, they have us on chokehold because everybody is like, this collaboration is very serious. Thank you. Oluwaseun says, respect and courtesy do not know any gen. Somebody said, I wanted to know how you knew what they wrote if they don't read it. Oh my God. People are funny. People are funny. And I see all sorts. All sorts. Somebody said, being born to meaning. Yes, yes. Right. So sorry, under fruit, I did not read the action point. Set financial goals and quarterly growth and measure results. Under formation, write it down tonight. What are you approaching? And I not say go to their DMO. Sometimes you have to go for their program. Sometimes it might take a while. And then sometimes you think mentor has to be Bukwaushika. Where on the group that you're doing challenge, can you see where's the lady? I'm going to call you some, please. My team members, let me know the person's name so I can bring her up later. There's a lady on the challenge. She's using tech to drive home the point. I'm like, hey, already somebody is saying, come and train me. If I was her, if she was me, masterclass loading. But don't say it is coach. Sometimes you have to give as well, right? Uh-huh. Formation. Please make this year your year of intentional and strategic partnerships. Before I go on, if you have not joined the Money Challenge, you are missing. I have never invested my time in any of our money challenges like I've been working since December, just trying to get the money challenge in place. And it just wants, I've been receiving messages, oh, this platform is so lovely. We literally launched a new learning platform, and the challenge people are the ones launching it. It's brilliant. So if you're not on that challenge, I think we have about 300 and something people there. The energy, I read through the goals, I read through what people are, and I'm like, wow, wow. Father, even me. I have a diary. Where's my diary? Somewhere in my house or somewhere on my table. Me too, I opened a new diary and jot, I want my life to change as well. Letom says, I overthought joining the challenge, but so grateful I joined. We'll talk more about it. Let's go into the next F. Are you learning something? Remember, we talked about what's the first F? Who can remind me? Who can remind me the first F? Let me go back. Talked about your field. We talked about fruit. We talked about formation. I'm talking about fish. Now, as you make the money, save and prepare. You remember even Jesus when he was going to pay his taxes. He bragadoed them. In Yoruba, they will say, "Owo ọmọ ẹlẹ́yin." You know what that means? You are going on the road and you hit the egg seller and all the eggs are on the floor. You must pay. If you don't have emergency funds, how do you want to pay? So from all of these things, you must also adopt saving and investing techniques. So that, because we have said we're raising millionaires and billionaires this year. How do you want to measure it? Some of you, you do not know what your bank account is saying. When I coach people one-on-one, one of the things I first of all ask is, give me your bank statement for the last 1 year. Let's review it. And then when she prints it, she said, I didn't know 200 million entered my account. I did not save anything out of it. Don't let that be your fault. Don't be that person that has become a millionaire but doesn't know because they haven't been tracking. Don't be like that. And you cannot measure what you don't track. How do you know your millions have come? If you don't track, you don't save, you don't. Some of you, listen, and I've been saying it, we have just started on the challenge. I'm just giving you a dose. By the time I hit you with chloroquine, you say, Coach, please. I'm still very gentle. I give you chloroquine like this, very bitter, but it will shake that malaria, that financial malaria out of your body. You are just, some people are just very irresponsible. Not the people here, they're not here. Those irresponsible people, they're not here. How can you say, I don't know where my money is going? Is your money more sensible than you? And money, like I like to say, is inanimate. Money, where's my purse? My wallet. Money, piece of paper. Where is it? I have a $20 bill here. You see? Money. This is it. Paper. If I decide I can tear it now, but I won't tear this one. I won't tear money. Money is my partner. Money is a tool. How can you say, Coach, I don't know where my money is going? I used to be like that. This money is inanimate. Let me stop sharing so you can see my face. Money, can you see? Is what? Inanimate. Paper. You are animate. You have brain. You have ears. You have eyes. You have nose. You have mouth. You have heart. you have mind, you have soul, you have spirit. And this money, as you are seeing it, is wiser than you. How? Why? It's like, coach, you don't understand. The money will not allow you sleep at night. He said, what's up, my coach? We cannot understand. If they give you money, your spirit is lifted. Money is a tool. Francis Bacon says money is a great servant, but a bad leader. Money is the tool. Money is your partner. Money. Money is something you must send on an errand. You say, oh, you cannot understand it. I've been there and I understand. So you are wiser than this paper. Listen, let me get it. Another sheet of paper. This is money. This is my ATM receipt. Both of them are paper, made from the same thing. But what's the difference? The difference between these two is that we as human beings, we have placed value on this money. If not, this paper can be this money can be this paper. We are the ones who have placed value on it. If one day America wakes up and says, we're not using $20 bill again, what happens? This money is useless. So let's rework these things and start to take our finances more seriously. And put money in its place. Money is a tool. Money is a partner. Money is a resource like oxygen, like light, like water. It's meant to help us live amazing lives. That's why you must be able to say, this money, I work for it. Then the next annoying thing is, do you know what goes into making your money? Some of you wake up very early, you travel from mainland to island to mainland. You work so hard, 25 days a week, 30 days a week. And then you now get the money. And then you spend it anyhow. You don't even have respect or regard for your time, not the money, until your circumstances improve. Because money, this money that you earn, is a representation of your time. You can make more money truly, but can you make the time that you have lost? You know, when you think about these things, it helps you place more value on money and see it as a tool, not as your leader. It's important. So as you make this money, as you know, these things that we're saying, as they manifest in your life, learn the basics of saving and investing and making your money work for you. I'm not going to talk about that. Right? But save regularly. Your savings are the seeds for the future. Create an energy fund. I call it an energy. Because when we say emergency, we say what emergency? We are changing our terminology in Smart Stewards. We are turning it into what? An energy fund. That fund that can give you energy when there are issues. Right. Commit to saving. Can you see the image I used? That fish that you can always call on. Say, don't worry. Remember one day my mentor was, shared a story. They were going to do something, she and her husband. And then they needed some extra money. And then the husband was like, hey, where do we get it? She had the money there, and she just wrote a check. Big money. And the husband said, what? She said, from that day, the respect went like this. And have that energy fund, like Jesus did. Jesus had an energy fund. He said, do not pay taxes. Peter, go to the sea, the first fish, bring it out. Right. Have something saved aside. I talked about this already. It's about the flow of money this year, world movement and positioning. There's no time. I really want to, I think the next call, the next major call for the challenge, I'm going to unbundle some of these things in a deeper dimension. Where's money flowing from? Where's money flowing to? These are the things to know. Right? Be aware of global and local economic trends. Position yourselves where opportunities align with your skills. What are your skills? What are the skills you need to have? Stay informed on sectors expected to grow in 2025. I already shared some of them. I'm moving fast now. And then I think the final F, if I'm right, is foundation. Invest for the future. Build a strong foundation with diversified investments. Consider some of this stuff. We will talk about them within the challenge and in the academy. But the action tip, research one investment opportunity to explore in January. I put a bonus F there for you. Having done all of these things, this year, flourish you. No. This year, we must take care of ourselves. Please. And some of us, we work so hard that even as the engine, we're not servicing ourselves. Your money is either going to other people continuously or going on unnecessary things. Today is not the day to talk about it. But if there's anything you will do, recently we lost someone that he's a real estate developer. He clocked 50 in 2024. I was on the board. We wanted to do some project with him, but didn't do it. But I was on his broadcast list every week. Oh, we have just finished one terrace, 560 terraces, clinical terraces. This guy was always working. And one night, he just couldn't talk again. He was on a call and I started to gasp. He died. Now, this guy could not even celebrate his 50th birthday. They said he was going to do a party, but he canceled it. For what? At the end of the day, all the estate, all the money, we're spending it. It's just a sickness. I still have it on my, I can't even delete it. Somebody I know, I'm like, gone like that. So as your coach, I permit you this year to budget for self-care and hobbies to avoid burnout. Allocate 5 to 10% of your budget for self-care and personal development. Right? Call to action. I'm going to bring gospel up now. We're going to make 2025 the year of bold moves. 2 things I want you to do if you're a member of the community. Some people will say, I'm in diaspora group. I'm in Wealth Whispers group. I'm in Women's Ops group. Times are changing, right? Immerse yourself into the whatever we're doing. This season, it is a challenge. I've done all the challenges in the past. Things are changing, and there's a new grace upon the house. Don't miss out on it. So join the challenge. You're done with the challenge. Join the academy. Keep the oil flowing because it's flowing from the head. And our results this year will be massive, massive. I'm going to come back. We'll take questions, but right now I want to bring gospel in so that he can talk to us from a more professional point of view. And we also know what we'll do. Somebody says, you missed my fold slide. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I missed one slide. The fold is about, thank you, Valerie, for being so attentive. So how many slides? So we talked about one, oh my God, I missed the fold. So the fold is for the community. Thank you, I missed that out. Right, so we have the field, we have the fruit, we have the formation, we have the fish. And then after the formation, we're supposed to have the fold. The fold is the community. So formation is for strategic partnerships. The fold is for community. Remain in a community where you are constantly watered. Please don't sleep on it. Thank you. That was so good. Well done. Yes. Thank you. And then the flow, and then the foundation. I gave a bonus tip, the flourish, which makes them 8. I love the fact that somebody followed there. I'm sure she must have captured all the 8 or the 7 earlier on. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm going to come back for question and answers. But right now, let us call on gospel. But tell me in the comments, have you learned 1 or 2 things? YouTube, I know you are there. I'm showing you love from here, right? Well done. We're going to take questions. If you have questions, just keep them warm in the cooler. Let me see. Gospel, are you ready for us? This bit is important. I don't understand the economic whatever. I don't understand all the big grammar. Please understand. Because you need to know how to position yourself for the things ahead. So I'm going to ask Gospel to unmute, and I will, yes, exit the screen in a bit, but so lovely to see you, my brother, all the time. You blow our minds, and you do an amazing work. Welcome, well done. Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Coach Shola. Really grateful for this unique opportunity to speak and to be a part of this. I've been on the call since 6:57 or 7:57 my time, and I've been following everything you've been saying. Very apt and in fact, we are good to go. I mean, like we can end the day here. I'm being honest now. I'm not even gonna, but I'll just say as much as I can within the next few minutes so that I'm not overflogging. Coach Ola has really touched on many interesting areas, and I think that if we run with that intelligence, it's going to be a very great year for us. And I'm very optimistic about the year as well. So I will just share a couple of things just to, further on a bit on what Coach Ola had said. She's done a lot of justice, to be honest with you. I don't want to overflog it. And thank you very much, man, for what you do. This is massive. As at 9 minutes into the session, the room was already packed with 100 people.
And
So
we have people on YouTube as well. We already said
yeah,
we can only take 100. So people are
amazing.
watching on YouTube. Yes.
Amazing. This is really, really fantastic. And more grace, man. Thank you so much for all you do. So I'll just, quickly do this. Not everybody really understands the power of an Outlook session, especially in January. And I'm grateful that Coach Ola does understand the value, and she always does well with communicating that value. We had this last year, and this time around, it's been through the roof level of, intelligence, listening to her a couple of minutes ago. And I've also learned a whole lot. I've been writing as well. I've got my notes right in front of me. So I will just say a few things and then we could take questions, really. So officially to say Happy New Year to everyone on the call, Happy New Year to Smart Stewards and to the community. It's a great opportunity to be here. My name is Gospel Obile. I don't want to do much of my introduction of myself. You could go check my LinkedIn, but I want to go straight into this. So today we're going to be discussing the 2025 financial outlook, and I've particularly themed this as adaptive intelligence in changing times. And there is a reason why it's adaptive intelligence. Like Coach Ola said, December 31st, 2024, I mean, many churches, wherever you live, I live in the United Kingdom, both United Kingdom, the US, Canada, Nigeria, many churches, if you're a believer, would always have a prophetic word for the new year. But a lot of times, there's always an intelligence gap. And that's why Coach Ola does this. Now, the intelligence gap always goes a long way to feed into the how you turn those prophetic utterances into tangible results, particularly across the year and across the milestones that you want to see those goals achieved by. But in terms of the financials, which is really crucial, I mean, I talk to people every day with the kind of work I do. I'm an economist and I do work in policy, in business strategy. I do work in fundraising, in social enterprise fundraising. And that social enterprise fundraising is a major part. My economics and social enterprise fundraising is a major part I've been doing within the UK. And I speak to people every day. And one of the things I've heard from the rich to the middle class, to the upper class, to the high-end class, is everybody wants to do things at a level where they are not spending their money, they are not burnt out spending their money, they can even multiply their wealth, and they also want to understand where the world is headed with regards to their finance. And that's why
Sorry, Gospel. Sorry. Can you just increase your volume? I'm hearing some
increase my volume
feedback.
a bit. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is it better
Thank
now?
you. Yes. Just project
Okay.
a bit.
Fantastic. Yeah, I will. So everybody wants a share of the financial trajectory of the world today. Everybody wants a share. And it doesn't have anything to do with your religious status. It has everything rather to do with your goals, your ambitions, your aspirations, what you have in mind for yourself, your children, your businesses, and all that. So people are constantly on the drive. But one of the reasons why, I've been thinking a lot in the past few months about this particular thing, where the world is headed, watching events closely. I intentionally stopped posting at some point so that I could meditate a bit into where the world is evolving. And one of the keywords, or three keywords that I've come to terms with how global events have unfolded, especially how those global events impact on our finance, is adaptive intelligence. And I'm going to explain that, especially as it goes to do with where we all are now as individuals. But because this is also a faith-based session, this is the first time in my outlook that I've been trying to quote the scripture, but I think this is important because of the kind of community we're faced with. By the way, I do this outlook for Unilever, Heineken, Coca-Cola Foundation, people who spend billions and millions of dollars in Africa, in the UK, and I try to explain to them where they should be spending that money, what sort of intervention will work. However, this is my first time sharing the scripture, and there's a reason why. And I'm just biased for this community. So if you check the scriptures on Luke chapter 5, verse 55, Jesus speaking to his disciples, Simon, there was an issue where, the disciple had worked all night, they didn't catch anything, basically. And the scripture literally reads that, and Simon Peter, or Simon, answered unto him. That's talking to Jesus now. Master, we have toiled all the night and have caught nothing or taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down the net. Okay? But when he also let down the net, and then they had done this, they enclosed a great many of fishes and all that and all that and all that. And if you read that scripture, the context talks about Jesus encouraging them to cast their nets to the other side because they've toiled all night and caught nothing. Now, the world we live in today is more, let me use the word vulgarized than ever before. It's more volatile, it's more uncertain, it's more complex and more ambiguous. However, so also is the nature of opportunities that are evolving in the landscape, especially how those opportunities impact on our finances and how those opportunities sort of impact on what we term as a financial outlook of the global environment today. Safe to say that things are constantly moving. Where people invest, what they invest, why they invest, what opportunities are at a particular period of time, and how those opportunities are also evolving are constantly changing. So in this scripture, the disciples had stayed all night. They casted their net to a particular side of the river, and they tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. But in the conversation with Jesus, the instruction came up to say that they should cast that net to the other side. And when they did, they caught a guy. If you talk about fishes, you talk about agriculture, you talk about climate change. There's this terminology for ocean, whatever, water conservation. There's a lot of things around when you look at the word fish there. And then it talks about commerce as well, all right? And then when you talk about your net breaking, you're talking about abundance, overflow, a place where you're getting into financial freedom and all of that. But there are many things around this context, and which I will explain. 3 things here. And those 3 things identify to, and I'm going to really move fast with this session, by the way, if you don't mind. Those 3 things hinge very deeply on where we are now as individuals. Number 1, adaptive intelligence. The world is constantly changing, and there's a saying that says that's not really to the most intelligent person or to the most strongest species that survives, but the species that can adapt. So the context of adaptive intelligence is then understanding how the world is moving across its vocal lines, where you live, how you live, how that all those vocal elements are being applied in your context. So if you live in Nigeria, how is the environment changing in terms of volatility, in terms of uncertainty, in terms of complexity, in terms of ambiguity? Where are the opportunities along the lines of those changes? How should you position along the lines of those changes? And in terms of positioning, what information do you need to help your positioning, and then positioning in such a way that you have the advantage? That's what adaptive intelligence is about. So it's not just about adapting to change, but interpreting change in such a way that you are ahead as the change or as that change is evolving. So you're adapting with information, but your information is more, I'm going to talk about that shortly, change leadership driven than retrogressive. But secondly, is also the concept of restorative intelligence, in my humble opinion. People talk about, or churches or leaders or institutions talk about restoration, people bouncing back from things. And when I take intelligence around what has happened to so many people in the last 1 year, where the world has been in the last 1 year, the world has become more busy. People have become more busy. People worked really hard. There are lots of fast-moving realities last year, But then again, we're in a state where now, in terms of this is the third or fourth day in January, people are really optimistic about the year. For some strange reason, that optimism is very consistent across board. But you can't take away the fact that people need a fresh start. People want to, experience possibility from a new level. So there's what we call restorative intelligence, meaning that you want to be able to bounce back, make meaning for yourself, make meaning for your family, your household, your community, your economy at large, where you live at large. But then again, there's a form of information and intelligence that is really crucial, to help your restoration and to help you move from literally, there's a convention that says that 2025 is also the year of the underdogs. How do you move from 0.0 or from point -1? Maybe you lost a couple of things last year, or you're at a point where you haven't really experienced the much needed change and growth you need. How do you move from there to becoming the sought after, to becoming the voice, to becoming the go-to, So there is adaptive intelligence that must happen this year. There's also restorative intelligence. So it's not just enough to be hopeful or optimistic. Because nature abhors vacuum, that hope must mix with intelligence to be able to, position us correctly for change, for development, for financial abundance, for financial stability, financial freedom, and the likes. People say hope is not a strategy, but if you've been through things the last 1 year and you're trusting and believing that things will get better in 2025, hope is actually the first point of your strategy. All right, so whilst hope is not a strategy, hope is a crucial factor in restorative intelligence. So you need a sense of optimism to be able to have that open state of mind to understand, to get the information and the tactics you need to move to the next level. But then, and that level was what we term as differential faith. What I mean by differential faith is your faith has probably looked in one direction. It's time to begin to look in other directions. And this, but in my own opinion, are three major things that encompass that Luke chapter 5, verse 5 scripture. All right. The times had changed. The disciples were throwing the net in one side. Jesus Christ came and sort of, informed and gave them instruction. That instruction was the revelation, was the information, was the intelligence and all that. They were open and willing to adapt. And because they had stayed all night catching nothing, but when they threw the net to the other side, the net started breaking. That is restoration. They were able to adapt to the new state of things, and they found restoration in context to now their nets were breaking. So they didn't just get enough fishes. They had too much that they didn't have enough space or capacity to take it. That is restoration. And when you talk about differential faith, the faith that still has all of its core principles at work, but takes that instruction to look on the other side. All right, you had faith when you casted your net, and when you were toiling all night. When you were toiling, there was faith. You weren't toiling without faith. You were toiling and believing and being optimistic about that process. But you had to take a differential diagnosis. That means you have to look at the thing differently, listen and take and adapt that instruction differently for that restoration time. So I believe so strong that these three areas are three core areas that would help our financials as we move into 2025. How adaptive are we? How restorative, or how much restoration can we get into? And how much differential faith can we then? I feel like it's been like a church talk, but then we're going to core economics. But I believe that it's the times we live in call for, helping people who are believers, Christians, and even if you're a non-Christian, but you know that it's God, helping you see things differently and unlock the potential of that prophetic word differently. But much more importantly as well is that within every climate, or for every individual, we're over 99 on this call, a lot of us are on YouTube, for every individual, You must understand that you do not live solo, you don't thrive solo. There are systemic enablers or disenablers or factors that can shape for it. And when I talk about adaptive intelligence, restorative and differential faith, the context is the catch is looking at the context around you to make that move. For the disciples, it was the water, it was the ocean, they were in a boat and all of that. I mean, and then the instructor was there, they got the instruction and they acted on it. So there were externalities involved, you know, that made them act the way they acted. So for every individual, you must understand that the economy is very crucial. So if you don't follow economic news, if you don't take inflation numbers seriously and all of those dynamics, it may be difficult for us to be able to intelligently adapt or intelligently find restoration or even move in the order of differential faith. All right. So the economy, the industry / sector that you have interest in, either as a career person or as a business person, or even a passion. You may be someone who works in tech, for instance, but you have a passion for children. All right. You have a passion for education and children, or you have a passion for widows, you have a passion for young men, dads, and all of that. So there are sectors and landscapes that, for instance, as a career person, you work in tech. Technology is a sector. Now you're interested in, let's assume you're interested in children, and young people. That's a social enterprise sector. All right. And let's assume your investments are with some couple of banks and treasury bills and all that. That's the financial sector. So you must understand that revolving around your lives are different sectors and industries that are play in one way or the other to help you position correctly. But then again, further down the line, there's what we term as the OPS, MDAs, and associations. And these things are very good. This chart, if you understand this chart very well, you'll be able to adapt, evolve, restore, and all of that. Now, the OPS are the organized private sector, the MDs are the ministry, departments, and agencies, and the associations. These are institutions or individuals that make or break the potential of any system you may be involved in at a particular period of time. And I'm going to tie all these things together as to why I'm saying this thing. Now, the market is where you're directly playing or indirectly playing. So directly playing can be, for instance, you're a career person in tech. That market for you would be, let's assume, as a career person, will be the supply side market. Tech talent who supply employers or industries with the solutions that they need. You may want to switch jobs. That's a labor market, that's a job market and all that. Or you may even run a business in tech. You may be an employer of labor. You may have competitors. You may have other people within the industry that are constantly moving the cheese, sort of. So you must understand the market where you're playing in as an individual, as a business owner, as a social enterprise personnel, and all of that. Now, if you take it a step further, you must understand that there's also competition, and there is collaboration, and there is the possibility of complementing one's efforts with another. Now, one of the early things I will say on this call is that for many of us who have been caught into the competition web, we must understand that to take advantage of the times we are in, some of the people you call competitors should actually be seen as partners. Some of them can be seen as vendors if you run a business. Some of them you should collaborate with. Some of them they may be your competition, but they are gray lines for alignment. All right. So at the highest level of growth, development, change, decision-making, funding, and all of these big things that happens in the world, it's about collaboration. And that collaboration is hinged on vested interest. So you find two competitors coming together to do one thing. It's not because they are still competitors, but they are aligning on the grounds of vested interest. Right. So you must understand the economics of that competition and how it plays. Am I clear with my volume and all? Okay. And then lastly, we want to talk about externalities. And this is very crucial. When you talk about externalities, we're talking about the institutions abroad. Now, abroad can mean in your far reach, in your external circle that are not within your conventional reach. It could be probably Nigeria in the UK, it could be folks in the US, in Dubai and all that. You must consider the economics of externalities and how that economics of those externalities are impacting your personal economy and your personal finance. So for instance, if you run a business, is there a program in the US that can strengthen your positioning, your growth, your development, and all that you want to do in the next 3, 4, 5 years, and how you tap into those opportunities? If you run a social enterprise institution in Nigeria, how are you able to raise funding from Ford Foundation, from all of these stakeholders who have so much money to spend, they're looking for who to give it to. All right. If you have a career in Nigeria, for instance, or probably in the UK, and you're looking to upskill, How can you get remote jobs in Dubai that can pay you more money at tax-free, incentives and all of that? So there are externalities that are constantly. In fact, if you run a business, for instance, let's assume you run a business in Nigeria. How can you move from a business that has a business solution trying to solve a business problem to a business solution trying to solve a social problem? Because one, the former is actually you running as a business for profit reasons. The latter is you running as a business, but much more in the realistic sense, running as a social enterprise, because you're then using a business solution to solve a social problem, and then you're open to the world of not just private equity, debt finance, but also grants, donations, and the like. So that way your model and the market you're serving is much more broader by virtue of opening yourself to externalities. I don't know if you're together. So the concept is you being able to think of your personal finance from this evolving, what we term as business environment, because your life is a corporation, really, and you're the CEO of it. So you need to see everything around you as the environment where you do business, where you do the business of your life and your livelihood. So the more we begin to think of it that way, we can make more business decisions with our career. We can make more business decisions with our businesses. We can make more business decisions with our social enterprises. We can make more business decisions in quotes with our positioning and all that. So, right. So, but then it's important that we understand that crisis is economic opportunity, when looked at from a different lens. And that is one of the major challenges that the world is faced with today. There's so much crisis, and the media is built to sell. And because the media is built to sell, negative news is built to sell. All right. So the media thrives on negativity. In fact, if you watch the news to make your decision, you're already late. In 2024, if you have to watch the news, I'll say it again, to make your decisions, you are already late. So you need to be steps ahead of the news. And I'm going to talk about that very shortly when I go into the economics of how the world is working. People need to understand that the way the world is going and what you see on Instagram, on TikTok, on the news, on Twitter, it's not exactly what is happening. There is the economics of what is. I mean, I'm trying to do for the right way to say it. There's someone said that there are three kinds of people: those who are actually making things happen, those who are wondering what is happening, those who are watching things happening. So just put out there to make you understand that what you see, that scripture that says, is a scripture, a quote that says the things you see, things are not always the way they appear, is real. But then again, when I get into a place where perception is becoming reality, all right, what people think is true is actually true for them, may not necessarily be the truth. All right. So but then there are different thematic areas that are changing the lensing of the world. And please, I want you to follow this very closely. There are different thematic areas that are changing the lensing of the world, and that would also inform how the world operates. And I want to be able to take this from a positive angle, because the goal is for you to have eyes on the ball from the context of adaptive intelligence, restorative intelligence, and differential faith. All right. Understanding that you are that Peter. You've casted your net to one side. You've toiled all night, but there's an instruction and intelligence coming for you to adapt, which is to move to the other side. All right. And then to find restoration in 1 quarter. Your year can be done by March, honestly, to be able to make the most of, what you've not been able to achieve in the past 1 year or decades or couple of years. So number one is Trump 2.0. Why is Trump so important to the order of the world in 2025? Trump is the only US president that has had what we term as a recess. So for instance, most times, Nigeria has never had a president that has gone on recess. What that means is most times you have a president who does first term, they run again for second term, and they win the election. So back to back. Trump is the only president that ran for 4 years, that held the office for 4 years. He lost the rerun, or the second term run. He was out for 4 years, and now he's back again. So he's had 4 years to rethink, to review, to trust me, to analyze many of the things he did in his time. Then out of office, many of the things or how the world has changed in the last 4 years. And now he's back again. So whether you like it or not, whether you are for or against Trump, that conversation has moved. It's now time to understand what a Trump 2.0 means for the state of the world. And what that simply means is going to look at it, lens it through from the place of the United States and its world power status. Trump is likely going to be a bit more nationalist in his approach. Probably a bit more very stringent with immigration policies, as always. But he's big on innovation, AI, crypto, and all those things. He's very big on those things. Now, the challenge with that is because he's very audacious with how he does things, there's also a risk of those elements, AI, Bitcoin, and all those things, going too fast out of, how do I put it, getting out of control in context to how do you regulate AI? How do you regulate the crypto market? How do you regulate the alternative currencies market? And all of that. So there is now the concept of the safety of these things. And let's not forget that in the last 4 years, the world has gone to what we term as increased social polarization. That means the intentional rise of disinformation and misinformation, all right, to construe or to misguide a critical populace in the world, especially when it comes to their investments, when it comes to their decision making, when it comes to how they vote, when it comes to elections and all that. So misinformation and disinformation has really done lots of harm. In fact, I don't know if anybody saw on Instagram today, there was an AI version of Pastor Odeboye dressed as if he's in Mecca. So I don't know if you saw it, but I saw it today. And it was really very funny because that's the world we live in today. It's termed as social polarization, where technology has really gotten out of hand. And then RCG and the Office of the Geo has to put out a statement to say, no, we are not. So to a large extent, you get a lot of reactive approaches to managing the downsides of these things, because to start with, that is where the world is headed now. All right. So the worry is that Trump 2.0 will lead to a bit of those excessives on social polarization end. There may be a more stern leadership within the United States. The United States will be a more fast-changing economy than anywhere else in the world to a large extent because of the Trump's nature of policy spontaneity. Now, that may in fact impact monetary dynamics and all that. I don't go into those technical details, but Trump 2.0 will mean that we need to pay attention to what's happening in the world again and again. And when you see an information the first time, reading between the lines, think it through, discuss with an expert before you engage. Secondly, global growth. And I have to really move fast because I'm not even, actually thought Koshola would give me a lot of time, but I need to be out. I need to do this quickly and do this very punchy. But then global growth. I mean, the world is slowing down on growth, but the world is in recovery mode now. But what's happening when you juxtapose global growth with global politics and global economies is that what you find with the Russia and Ukraine war, what you find with Nigeria trying to join the BRICS is Brazil, Russia, Indonesia, China, South Africa. What you find with the president of Brazil saying that they want to make the gold the peg currency and no longer the dollar. What you find with all those, what you really find what's going on is just, people wanting their own national agenda to become the mainstay. And that's what it is, basically. So the Russian-Ukraine war has been lingering, not really because of a war in a sense, but because of the dynamics of who is now the world power and the need to change that on the grounds of global currencies. So you need to understand that what is really happening is not what is happening. AI, like I mentioned earlier on, currency wars is also going to be a big thing. Reasons why the Nigerian exchange rate cannot drop anytime soon, not even in a significant way. I said this, I met Koshola in 2023 at the Intercontinental Hotel. I said this, I analyzed it. And I think at that point it was like 700 naira to a dollar or 600 naira, something like that. And I remember somebody walking up to me and saying, no, I disagree. But right now, it's where it is. And it's not like going to get worse because we don't have the time. This is not a live set. If it's in-person session, I've shown you the economics of how currencies work and how those geopolitical elements are impacting on the state of currencies. All right. And that's not to make us feel like we're in a doomish era, but it's also to make us see that we need to opt our game. All right. So the cost of living has come to stay. You have national inflation dropping, but you also realize that whilst inflation has dropped in some countries, the cost of living has remained or has increased. Now, on the flip side, in Nigeria, inflation has constantly continued to increase. Talent migration is a big deal. I mean, Koshola talked about this. I just came back money, that kind of stuff. But the truth is, with the whole Japa thingy, you now have a rising army of people who have a stronger income disposable compared to the naira, and they are going to plow that back into the Nigerian economy in one way or the other. December is just at the climax of it. So you have more people from the UK who are doing work with Nigerians back home, who are, for instance, hiring web designers and those kind of support staff back home and all that. So talent migration has evolved. It's no longer a Japa thing. It's now a cross exchange of opportunities. Unfortunately, many people are not seeing it that way. Maybe I'm going to start a blog on that, but people need to change the lens on what talent migration means in the era we live in. All right. By order of that economics happening, other economies have also prospered. Either, I mean, when you think about it from UK end or even from Nigerian economy end. Then Africa and sustainability are two big thematic areas that is changing the way the world is evolving. I'm going to run this really quickly because of time, and I don't want people to leave the call because what I'm saying is really crucial. Adapting for change leadership is progression, but status quo is retrogression. So the world we live in today is such a way that when you stand on the same spots, because events are constantly unfolding and people are moving from one point A to point B, what's happening is that if you stay on the same spots, you would technically be steps ahead of innovation because the market, the state of the world is moving so fast. So you're not retrogressing by virtue of doing the wrong things. By virtue of even doing the right things but staying on the same spots is retrogression. Technically, it's also status quo. Because even if you're doing the right things, you need to also be progressively doing them. So what is right today may be wrong tomorrow. All right. You need to review and constantly review. So the place of executive intelligence in such a way that you're taking personal responsibility for your life, how you are reflecting over your personal finance, your jobs, your businesses and all that, everything has to come together into one-stop shop, thinking of your life as a corporation that needs to, evolve in context to this adaptive, restorative intelligence and the differential phase I talked about. Secondly is cultural and consumer intelligence. How is the cultural landscape changing? Whilst consumer intelligence talks about what people want, how much they're willing to spend on it, what percentage of people would like to buy that thing in the market. The cultural bit talks more around why they want what they want, what are the behavioral, psychographical, or even environmental factors that are shaping. So for instance, what are the environmental factors that are shaping corporates? What are the environmental factors that are shaping your industry? And how do you need to begin to pay attention to those factors? So it's not just enough as to if there's a demand for XYZ skill or not. What is the psychographical undertone? What are the environmental or cultural nuances that is shaping behavior in this sector? And how can you align, yourself to ensure that you're on the advantageous end of the divide, because it's going to be a divide. So, all right. So then you talk about cluster market value, not just looking at one market as the sole market, but also looking at the market as a cluster, thinking of the market rather as a cluster that you can offer products and services to. I'm going to break this down shortly. But then again, in terms of your brand performance and business performance, you also want to think of having a strong visionary marketing team. Marketing is no longer a function of a unit. It's now a visionary element of everyone within an organization. All right. So you now begin to think about even the guy at the gate, the person at the reception, from that lowest cadre to the highest cadre, everybody's responsible for keeping an eye out on how the markets are changing and what ideas can be infused or introduced in your own brand or your own business or in the corporates where you work to be on the cutting edge of innovation. So that's the era we live in right now. So the era of innovation is not just a sole responsibility of the senior leadership or the marketing team. It's now a sole responsibility of everybody, lancing through their roles or their responsibilities. But then again, if you take a look at the global economy, like I mentioned, there are interesting global growth projections. The world is going to get better in terms of growth, generally, which means that economic activities will be on the rise, although it's not going to be proportionate as always. Proportionate simply means that the spread of those activities, people who need people who need a particular thing, getting it at a particular time is very relative to who's distributing it. That's what I'm trying to say. So you want to ensure that you are on the side of who is distributing, not just on the receiving end of things. Because at the end of the day, who is getting what, when, and why, and how is now very relative to that VUCA environment, to who is in power, to what Trump thinks, to what the global monetary economic system means, and all of those things. So it's very crucial that we understand that the overall outlook of the world is positive in terms of how economies are going to advance. Now, a couple of people will say it's negative and give you reasons why. I'm not trying to be optimistic. I'm just trying to speak on the lines of the opportunities that growth will provide. So it's an upward recovery for the world. And if you look at the Nigerian economy, Nigeria has been one of the most resilient countries when it comes to growth. Now, not because the government has done anything majorly significant or positive, but largely because the market in itself is resilient. And again, the market has the numbers, so it's an interesting dynamics, but it's what it is. And that's why you see more investments keep coming in, even if investments may have slightly declined, even if the government may have what's the word now? A genuine intention. I think the current administration has a genuine intention, but their strategies are incoherent and they are bad timing. And that alone can be as good as having a wrong intention. So, and that's where the problem is. All right. So, and then if you can see also the spread of non-oil and oil, the oil economy is really different. So the Nigerian economy is far diversified. All right. What you have right now, or what the challenge has been, is diversifying the revenue base of the Nigerian economy. So 56 or 60% of people, of young people, actually play the non-oil space. If we take a cue now on this call, you can hardly find someone who works in the oil and gas sector. Right? Most people either do work in tech innovation, in startups, or in FMCGs, in manufacturing, and all that. Majority of Nigerian businesses are in the non-oil, and that's where the future is. But then again, oil is not going to go out soon in Nigeria. All right, which are reasons why electric vehicles and all that are still a bubble. So it's not a real thing. Inflation is still higher, means that 34% going to 36%, but then food inflation is even higher, but the exchange rate is 1,500. Now, on the exchange rate, I want to just encourage us on the call when it comes to the exchange, because I want to move to what we should be doing now, not just what is happening. You can't control that. It's a demand supply dynamics. If you're not supplying enough into the mainstream to serve the demand, it is going to weaken the price point. The price point is the exchange rate. And that's how it works. So it's very simple. So if you go out, for instance, if the total number of bread in Nigeria is 1,000, and you have 200,000 people saying they want to buy bread at 8 a.m., and at 8 a.m. you only have 1,000 loaf of bread or pack of bread, whatever the terminology is in Nigeria. What would mean that is if you sell that bread at the normal price, it's going to cause problem. So what happens is that the price of each unit of that bread, that 1,000, will keep going up as the demand intensifies. And that's what happened to the exchange rate. You have more people who need the dollars for health reasons, for educational reasons, for recreational reasons, for business reasons, particularly even business reasons. So very legitimate needs for the dollars, but you don't have enough supply of the dollars in the Nigerian economy. Unfortunately, also because the Nigerian economy is very dollarized in its structure. You need that to do anything significant, right? So it's also a bad positioning for the economy, but also when you have that in such a way that you're not even supplying enough of dollars compared to the demand, it means that the demand will outweigh the supply. And normal economic principle, when demand outweighs supply of a commodity, that commodity becomes scarce. And then the price goes up. It's just like petroleum subsidy. When there's no petrol, the price goes up. So, so that's what's happening to that exchange rate. So if nothing is being done for the Nigerian economy to become productive, I'm not talking about we are not going to be productive, I'm talking about the economy now. Because the economy may lack productivity, but your life can be productive. So which is where this intelligence comes in. But you need to know, for you to be productive, you need to know why the economy is not productive. So you are not, so you can then work from a counter-intelligence standpoint, but you need to have the right intelligence to work it correctly. So that's one of the reasons why the exchange rate is worsening. All right, now they've done all manner of gimmicks, give the ready change of $10,000 and all those interesting, complicated things I won't talk about on this call. But realize that the problem is still there. So what I will encourage us to do in context to the fact that inflation is also rising is to know that the cost of living crisis has come to stay. You cannot, it's not a fight you can win. Expenses would likely keep going high. But a part where you can control significantly is your income. All right, you can control your income, you can control your investments, you can work out your accountability stuff. I mean, Coach Elijah already doing lots of that. So you can be on the control side of the equation than the risk side of the equation. You can't control what Trump is going to do with his policies, but then all of those things will have ripple effect on the cost dynamics or livelihood in the Nigerian economy. So the goal is then you need to begin to look at things differently. You know, in 2024, I mean, generally people did harder stuff. People worked harder, grinded harder. People were a lot busier. There's somebody that we spoke January, February. In March, after March, we didn't talk again till yesterday morning. So, and we're just like, last year, you know. So 2024 was hard. People worked hard. But in 2025, we want to go smarter. So whilst the hard work is already there, I believe that it's more a mix of both. So the big question is, where does purpose and counterintelligence leads us to? All right, that is one of the big questions we should ask ourselves. 2025 is not a time for us to let our purpose lose or let's disconnect from our purpose. It's even a time for us to connect more deeply into our purpose. But the challenge is that when people engage with their purpose or the passion that they have in mind, they are burnt out to doing it because they've not been able to either monetize, commercialize it, or there is no intelligence that is moving them from hope to practicality. But hope, again, is necessary. So what is then the outlook for the year? And I'm going to run through that very quickly. Oh my God, time. Inflation has evolved, so cost of living crisis will get stable. We are in an era of a new shift. Now, global diversification is now the new normal. So embracing your difference is power. Now, we are in a world of differences. We need to understand that, because the thing is that differences terminology is tilting both negative and positive. So if you notice very well, if you stand for what you believe in, it's just a matter of time. The world will rally around you. So if you look at the LGBTQs and people who have all those type of very funny, interesting ideologies, realize that a movement is now building around it. A very fierce movement is now building around it. All right. If you look at Trump, he's very different. But what has happened with the US elections wowed everybody significantly. What has happened in the UK elections wowed everybody differently. You know, the Labour Party had a landslide win in the elections. What happened in Ghana wowed everybody differently. All right. So people believe that the incumbent party would likely win, but because the party was broken, how will I put it now? Because the party was not organized at a level, it gave room for many voter apathy in quote unquote, for the current the president-elect to emerge. All right, so the dynamics of how the world is changing is really, really happening, whether we like it or not. So engaging your difference is your power. So whatever you have in mind to do as a passion, as an interest or purpose and all of that, do not be scared to, move out or launch in your difference, because your difference is now the power. People are now rallying around differences. Like Coach Ola mentioned, content creators are now making a lot of money, and like people say, is either you go through the long haul to build visibility, or you build visibility to controversy, or you build there are different ways people are now doing that thing. So embracing your difference is power, and I need you to hold that thought as I move on to the next thing. Now, rethink crisis. Social enterprise is the new vehicle. Now, if you run a business and that business does not have a social enterprise vehicle, you are incomplete on your journey towards this financial freedom, stability, wealth creation, and whatever you want to call it. Social enterprise is the new vehicle. Every organization now on earth has a social enterprise. Think about it. MasterCard Foundation. Visa Foundation. Microsoft Foundation. UBA Foundation. Just think about it. Mention one organization in the world that is intentional. Adobe Foundation. Barclays Foundation. Santander Foundation. So social enterprise is the new vehicle. And I wouldn't like to say, but let me just say, when you run a social enterprise vehicle, it in turn helps your corporate tax efficiency. If you don't know that, It helps your corporate tax efficiency. And one of the things I wanted to say earlier on, but I didn't want to say at that time, was the evolving nature of the world is also leading to some new level of systemic, structural, and social inequalities. Meaning that wealth will no longer be distributed normally. It's, in fact, nothing again in the world will be evenly distributed. So the natural order of the world, including the context of social polarization I talked about earlier on, has made the world more divergent. All right. So even that's why the fact that the Bible says the poor you always have in your midst. Now the game between the rich and the poor is now more is so wide that it's gradually eliminating the middle class. So we need to understand that because social and systemic inequalities are now on the rise. I mean, look at the Russia-Ukraine war. It has impacted price of wheat, supply chain, and all that, meaning that some countries are now richer, some are poorer by virtue of where you are on that divide. Now, what that technically means is that it's impacting on inflation dynamics differently in different countries. All right? And countries are now careful. And why do you think Nigeria is trying to get on the BRICS list of countries? Countries are now lobbying to be part of the G7, G20, because where you are on the table determines what amount of the resource will be distributed to you. But nothing again in the world is distributed evenly. So depending on just, that is why there's also what the term as spiritual intelligence and how we interpret and engage these things. But then again, the rise of social enterprise has been such that you now have more funding available in the world today to close that uneven gap. Now, that uneven gap is further worsened by what we call the natural order of change, like climate change, like sustainability. So AI is not the greatest risk of the world now. Climate change is the greatest risk of the world because it's one natural thing no government or no institution has power over. And when you layer that climate change as a structural risk, everything is actually an added on risk. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So we need to begin to understand that by natural order of the world, of the state of the world, by election order of the state of the world, by geopolitical order of the world, they are now widening inequalities. What that simply means is that corporates, organizations, governments are now galvanizing resources at a level different, at the level never heard of, or at a position never heard of, to support the strongest causes in the world today. Technically as well, what that also means is that their priorities on what they are supporting, where they are supporting, who they are supporting is also constantly changing because the world is now changing at a very fast pace. I hope this is not too much for us. I hope this is not too much, but yeah. So we need to rethink crisis. Consumer propositions are deepening, and more importantly is the fact that there's a rise of impact investing. There is a rise of impact investing. So it's not just enough. So, and impact investing has now veered off so much. So it's no longer grants for a social enterprise. Even if you're a private equity investor. So if you run a business now, you're just looking for an investor. Yeah? Your chances of gaining investments will be higher if you have an ESG component factored into how you do your work. Adobe Foundation, they've supported a lot of people, but there's one face they are taking around London. There is one face. His name is ZND, something like Yendi. If you Google him, Adobe Foundation, you see one young black boy. Yendi is the one they're taking around. And you know what the guy does? The guy makes cosmetic products. And the raw materials he uses to make his cosmetic products are sourced from sub-Saharan Africa, villages in sub-Saharan Africa. Many corporates have sourced those things from there and left those rural women poor. But what the guy now does is that for every £1 you spend on his product, 50p, which is like for every 1 naira, 50 kobo, goes to is it 50p or 20p, goes to a rural woman in sub-Saharan Africa. So it's not just also taking things from the planet or from hard to reach or underserved areas. It's how are you using your business model to make the world a better place. And that's what we call impact investing. So people are no longer investing in companies that are solving products or building the next tech, building the next tech. Everybody's tired of that. People are now investing in companies that have a sense of social consciousness embedded in them. So you hear things like ESG investing, sustainable investing, you hear things like responsible investing. That is where the new investors are headed to. All right. So you either are building a social enterprise as a new vehicle to co-support what you're doing as a business, or you are reworking your business model to be at the center to attract impact investments. All right. And your social enterprise too can attract impact investments. So social enterprise is a new vehicle of change. There's a reason why people like Tony Belu, with everything he's built with Transcore, with UB and all that, he's running to a new foundation. And when that foundation has taken him to, UBA probably hasn't taken him there. Transcore has probably never taken him there. All right. Now he's been able to translate that fund to something the AFDB is involved in, the White House is involved in, the France government is involved in. Many corporates are throwing in millions of dollars. And why? The worst, I mean, my God, we don't have time. I'm just like, because there are a lot of things I just want to say, but I just need to wrap up. There's a part that says that, I mean, whether it's in the Bible or we just say it, you are blessed to be a blessing. But people interpret that place from you are blessed to be a blessing, you have made money to help others with your money. But that's not really the correct thing. No? You are blessed to be a blessing also means that God has given you spiritual knowledge, intelligence, and capability, brain capability, to build something, to set up a structure that would be used to pull resources from the far ends of the earth to support the places where those resources are hard to reach. So you're blessed to be a blessing means that you are a conduit pipe for change. It means you're a conduit pipe for transformational progress. You're a conduit pipe to close the widening gap, widening social inequality gap in the world today. All right, you can only do that, not from your pocket. You can't do much from your pocket. How many videos how many women and how many men can you sponsor now from your pocket? You would reach a climate, even if you're a multi-millionaire. But you would do more when all the big institutions in the world are giving you money. Now, why would AFDB give you $10 million? AFDB will only give you $10 million if you have a proven framework, a proven capability. And you are blessed to be a blessing has something to do with being a Christian. Every man has the Spirit of God resident on their inside. All right. So my challenge to us is this: your social enterprise is a big thing you need to think of going forward into the new year. Because of the widening systemic gaps in the world, there are more funding, more opportunities, more platforms. For example, if you sell a bowl of soup, or if you run a food business in Nigeria, for instance, you can't do much with that. I'm sorry to say, but that's the truth. You can't do much with that because you are constantly fighting inflation. So how much price cut can you really achieve? Even the big corporates who have done price cut now, can't check their brand list. They've taken the major brands out of the market. And I told them in 2021 that the exchange is going to get so bad that if you don't tweak your strategy or change your strategy and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you would have to either shut down some of your operations or take some products out. In 2023, 5 of their transgenerational products were taken out of the market. If you pay attention very well, you know the brand I'm talking about. So I'm just trying to say that you can't beat the monetary challenge of the day, but you can translate your strategy with that context, from that context of you are blessed to be a blessing, to evolve. So if you sell a bowl of soup now, nothing stops you from being a champion for food security in Africa. Nothing stops you from building the #1 technology platform where somebody who has 10,000 chicks in Ondo State, for instance, can sell those chicks to somebody in Birmingham in the UK who needs them, who runs an African market and all that. All right. So the goal is solving problems at the heart of social transformation. And at that level, there is no limit to what your finances can pay. You don't even have time for finance. You have an accountant who will be personally handling the thing. Because you'll be traveling around the world, you'll be speaking at events, you'll be getting grants, impact investors will come to you. People who want their monies, because people who have worked hard and they have a lot of legacy money, they don't want to put money in a fintech who is just making us all over the place. No, they want to put their money in a place where the business model itself is making the world a better place and is also improving their returns. That is the state of the world we live in today. So I will encourage everybody to begin to think of the world differently. I'm shutting down now, so we can take a few questions for 15 minutes. And God helping us, I'm happy to come back again to deep dive into these different components. But we need more purposeful people who are either leveraging social enterprise or reworking their business models to attract impact investments. Right? That's the only way. Not just the only way, but that's one of the major frontline ways I strongly believe that God is leading us to be able to play a major role in the evolving state of the world. And I also talked about cluster markets, upscale markets. So it's not just about going to markets where people have more monies to spend. All right. It's also treating those markets as cluster regions, but particularly following the consumers who have the purchasing power. We don't have time. I've gone more deeply into that. But yeah, happy to take questions now. If we have questions too.
Oh my God. Wow. Let me. Wow. Before I start to sound like an ambulance. Guys, ladies, what do you think of this session? My notes are full, like gospel is evergreen. So on YouTube, I think we have about 200 and at some point 53 people. And let me see, the energy is still as strong.
Amazing.
Like literally, well done, gospel. You and I, we did not even scratch the surface of what we could have thought. Because when I was sharing my slides, I literally was like, gospel is coming, gospel is coming. I know you too, you are looking at your time, or you're looking at your time like, hey, time is going. Now, an Outlook webinar is something we should spend 6 hours doing, whereby everybody is picking their pen and literally drafting the action points. So I thought my strategy for 2025 was complete. But just listening to gospel now, I'm like, hey.
Thank God.
Gospel, remember the last year we did this?
Yeah.
Look at how things have evolved over the year again. And this one is even fuller. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said at the beginning, this is not a time where you say, so they now said, I know some people have dropped off. We still have well over 200 on YouTube. I'm incredibly proud of you guys because the agility to learn is there. And it just shows that we are on to a fantastic thing this year. Trust me. We are raising new millionaires and billionaires this year is fast. Trust me, and I'm not hyping you. Imagine the amount of information that we have shared tonight and the things we will continue to share on the challenge. Gospel, I am bringing you into the challenge. We are going to do night vigil. Let me just tell you ahead of time. Because your name, someone says, gospel has preached a good gospel. His name precedes him all the time. We will do night vigil and we will unpack some of these things and literally just work out strategies. And I know that gospel also does one-on-one sessions. If you have your contact or anything that people can, subscribe to anything, please drop it.
That's my full name on LinkedIn or
Instagram. Full name on LinkedIn or Instagram. Go send me DM if you want a one-on-one. But listen, gospel will not scratch the surface. I not scratch the surface. There's so much more, but let's take a few questions. Somebody says you said you have a few minutes, but you can speak for a whole day without getting tired. Maria says, what actions do we take with this information? Can we get some guidance and guidelines for 2025? Okay, keep the questions coming. Let's have him again. Let us schedule a deep dive session. In fact, I've changed my mind. It's not challenge. Gospel, they must sign up for mastermind.
Yeah, mastermind. Yeah.
It's mastermind that will do night vigil. Oh my God, this is powerful. Okay, well, let's take a few questions for gospel. I like what Maria said. She says, so what action do we take with this information? Some people are going to watch the replay. I think already we have over 1,000 views already. Some people have saved it, they will come back. Some people are at work. Within the challenge, I think we have about 350 people. Some of them are in the US, Uganda, just around the world. So I know that this video will still go far and near. So somebody says, what action? Gospel, we have heard you. We will unpack and unbundle this, but where do we go from here?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Coach Shola. Thank you to the person who asked the question. So in terms of what action, you need to go and watch the replay again, because I've not even shared half of what I planned, but from what I had said, some actions can be taken. So you need to reflect through. So that first chat where I put that thing about different stakeholders in the market, you need to go and have a general review of where you are now compared to that block. So questions can then be, do you need to switch careers? How can you upskill your career to be able to, sometimes it may not just be an upskilling of career, I mean, then be repositioning your career to serve stakeholders in new markets. So if you're a graphic designer, for instance, in Nigeria now, why are you not doing graphic design for countries in the corporates in the UAE? If you are a social media content creator, why are you not writing copies for corporates in the UAE? You know, those jobs, those remote jobs are there. You want to start beginning to look at that. Then you also need to start looking at their business. How do you switch your model from core corporate to social enterprise driven, or how do you develop a social enterprise space? In fact, there's this thing I even do for executives. I believe that if you're an executive that has done 10 years in an industry, or even if as far as you've done 10 years in your career, you should be thinking of thought leadership, because your brand is much more important than wherever you've worked. You get what I'm trying to say? So even if you end up working for one big corporate tomorrow, it should be because it's you they're hiring that will make a difference. So if you've done 10 years in an industry in your career to start with, your next step of line should be thought leadership. There's a science to break into thought leadership. I'm not talking about personal branding. It's more about thought leadership branding. So all what I'm trying to say is people need to just begin to reflect on these dynamics I talked about. You need to go and watch the replay to think. I may not be able to answer all the questions properly here. And if you want to book a one-on-one with me, feel free to text me my DM, or let Coach Shola know she has all my details. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I agree. You can reach Gospel on LinkedIn at Gospel Obele, on Instagram, Gospel Obele. Get his reach out to him for one-on-one, especially if you're looking at structuring your social enterprise for funding. Gospel is based in the UK,
Yeah.
but he's done a lot of work within the Nigerian ecosystem and even within the UK and Europe ecosystem. So he's got the experience. His Gospel is my personal partner. Like, in fact, you guys need to pay more so that, this session shouldn't have been free. Anyway, right. So reach out to Gospel if you want one-on-one. And yes, somebody says, how does the dollarization of the Nigerian economy impact on our personal finance? Gospel, do you want to
That's a
quickly
very
touch on
brilliant
that?
question. Unfortunately, the question they're asking me, I can't, it's an in-person one-on-one strategy, not like one-on-one, in-person strategy session. That's the truth. Now, the dollarization is not healthy for the Nigerian economy. All right, it's not. No foreign currency should be stronger than your local currency. And if you look at the top themes shaping 2025, that slide I showed, there's what we call currency wars. So the geopolitical wars you find today, actually the end game is a currency war. So gone are the days where people go to bomb places and all that, those acts of terror and all that. The world has moved beyond that. It's now a very sophisticated war on currencies. So if the strength of your local currency is weakening or is being invaded by another more stronger currency, it means that your economy is generally weakening, and it's just a matter of time. And that's just the truth. So how does it impact on your personal financing? How does that impact on your personal? Number one, it technically means that if you're spending in naira, any naira at a level for too long, it's again the concept of what I talked about, retrogressing. You're technically on one spot and you're at status quo and you'll be retrogressing because the world is moving. Nigerian economy is further being dollarized. So what you need to start doing, number one, you need to start making money in dollars, whether you like it or not. Somebody asked me on Plus TV about 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago. Plus TV, the video is on my Instagram. If you scroll down, and the person asked me, Gospel, should you start saving in dollars? I told them that I would advise anybody to start saving in dollars. So if you can start earning first in dollars, start earning in dollars. If you can start saving in dollars, start saving in dollars. If you can start buying investment stocks and all those things in dollars. It's a very difficult cycle if you're doing it from Nigeria, but it's possible. Start doing that. All right. And that's why I also talked about career upskilling. Either you're upskilling in your career in terms of vertically, or you also want to think of in terms of horizontally rather, or vertically, which will mean that the same career level you are serving stakeholders in high paying markets and less tax or tax efficient markets like Dubai. So if you start doing that and technically start bidding for more, because the same person who is doing, I mean, no two real estate agents are the same. You see some real estate people, they only sell luxury homes. Some people sell homes in Shomolu, some people sell homes in Yaba, some people sell homes in Ikoyi. I know people that only sell in Ikoyi. I know people that only sell in Banana. I know people that only sell at Eco Atlantic. So the concept can then be, if you don't want to move into that space of earning in dollars, you can then edge yourself into an extreme niche market where you are selling to the rich of the rich. But what you need to know with that is that you don't sell your product, so we are selling an experience to them. All right. So, and at that level, it's not like price is relative to who is buying. Affordability is a relative conversation. All right. I don't know if you get into there's not like really there's not like cheap. Cheap is relative to who is buying. I don't know if you get it. So you need to think about it from that context. And if you're edging up higher on the value chain to earn more naira, then you're in a place where you can be far ahead of the naira game, but you're still vulnerable because it's still all naira. So on the flip side, if you live in the UK, for instance, yeah, the direction may not affect you, but the UK pounds is gradually weakening. Now, only 2% of Black people, the UK gives about £9 billion in social impact, in impact investments every year. Now, only 2% of people in the Black community can access that money. Not because there's anything wrong with the ecosystem, but because Black people don't know. We believe we must use our monies to make a change, which is how we grew up. But the challenge to you is set up a standard social enterprise ecosystem within the UK. Ensure you're doing work in spaces where you will get more funding. Don't do work in places you're passionate about. You have to be politically, systemically, and funding. If there's a fundically correct, you need to be correct in your positioning. It's about positioning as well. So whilst there's passion, you also need to position correctly. And you can have both running together. All right. You have a case where believers are only passionate, but they are not correctly positioned. And that is where a lot of time we lose the game. And that is still adaptive intelligence, in my own opinion. And sometimes a level of differential faith. So you need to be correct in terms of what is the system giving more monies to, what should I be positioning on, how should I be tweaking my models to attract more of that. And when you gather that money, you can rework or repurpose to also fund what you're passionate about. So there's difference between what you're passionate about and what the system needs.
Hey.
I have to be clear about that. That's why
Hey, guys, this year is powerful and the signs are there. This is not gassing you up, this is not hyping you, but trust me, it is part of position. Gospel, how did I meet you? I went for a conference at the Intercontinental Hotel in the UK. A friend of mine was maybe the compare of the program, and then I listened to gospel. I'm like, what is this? It was July of 2023. When we talk about positioning and strategic partnerships that I spoke about. And then I walked up to him and I'm like, my name is Shola Adeshaki. And look at what we have done together and we continue to do. And guys, this year, you will hear about gospel and I. Hey, the things that we are cooking. The things that we are cooking. I just thought to mention that. These things we are saying are powerful. Gospel, you are blowing my mind. Now, I've listened to you. You have said these things many times, but it just hits differently tonight, right? And it just shows how powerful the year is. I know it is almost 11 in Nigeria,
wow.
but now what? I will take just one more question. It has to do with social enterprise, just one more, and we will continue to dissect the others within the challenge. Listen, guys, it's not as if I want to sell challenge. 25,000 naira is less than 1,000 naira a day, what you spend on shawarma and all of this. See, this is the first time in Smart Stewards that I am the one leading the challenge. I know the energy and the blood that I have put in making this challenge work. Like I said, we literally launched a new platform. The resources is not, it is bespoke because I know what the Lord told me about this year. And it's all part of my own personal commitment to see people win. And then I meet with, I don't want to say the person, and the person says, this is what is going to happen through you this year. I'm like, oh my God, I am on course. So anything that I do, anything that Smart Stewards does, anybody that I bring, please just take it as a blessing. This is not a curse. If nothing changes in your life financially this year, maybe we have to bind village people because the atmosphere is set. Just look at the amount of information that you have received tonight. If I were you, I will go back, call my family members, call my village people safe to come and be a part of these things. This replay, the Lord has to minister to me to leave it open. It is too powerful. So I'm going to take just one more question, but don't forget the things that I'm going to reiterate. Take the challenge seriously. Some of you have signed up, you're not running the courses, you're not dropping your accountability reports on a daily basis. Yet you are seeing others doing it. We're like, we will do it, I will do it, I will catch up. Like you have done with many other courses that you have done. Don't do that on this one. This is a movement, and there is the hand of God upon. So I will go spiritual on you this year as well. That's number one. Number two, connect with gospel by all means. Please follow him, get into his DM, and go and do one-on-one. Those who are asking about social enterprise and blah, blah, blah. He has all the links to funding and everything. Connect with him, right? Connect with the challenge. Remain in the community. The challenge is just 30 days. Day 4 is gone. You sisters, every day 3. It will soon come to an end. And you say, hey, remain within the academy. Don't leave because great things are happening this year. I am also going to open my mastermind. That one, you're going to be working with me for 9 months this year. If your life does not change, but your life will change. Let me not brag, right? So what I'm saying in essence is the strategic partnerships and the communities. Remember the fold and the formations. You must be intentional. Let me tell you one personal thing that I did. Just recently, I'm on the board of about 1, 2, or 3 companies, and the Lord told me to drop off one. I'm like, but I just started. And when he started to show me the things that will happen this year, I'm like, gosh, I get it. So you will do some things that will pain you, pain your pocket, there will be separations. There will be lots that would leave your life. But like I said, you cannot do the same things that you have been doing and you expect a different level of result. There are many people within the outer communities that are supposed to be in this channel that know they'll be like, it's CSA, she will talk to us, she will do webinar. Things have changed. CSA is going to be very scarce this year because I have a bigger weight of responsibility on me. And this is one of those challenges that I am making myself absolutely available. Like the next 30 days, I'm awake 4 a.m. thinking, putting things together so that our lives will be blessed. Please do not sleep on these things, right? I know that it's late, but gospel, if you are there, somebody says, and this will be the last question. Somebody says, my head is full. Do we have to register businesses as a social enterprise while making social impact? Or is it that we should focus our business strategy on social impact? Should I read it again, or did you get the question?
Yes, I did get the question. And
Fine.
just in case I don't respond in line, you could repeat again to me. That just to try and just save everybody's time. It depends on where you live to start with. If you live in Nigeria, you're better off if you already have a business, have a social enterprise model worked into that business. And then you can then use that to begin to do what you want to do. But again, it depends on which sector that business is in. All right, if you're in a high growth innovative sector, it's going to work for you. If not, if you live in Nigeria, you can as well just open a social enterprise, an NGO. But the problem with NGOs in Nigeria is that if you're not doing it in a very aggressive way, like what Coach Shola is doing with the Food Foundation, you may not be able to really make the most out of it. And again, that's because the market's still very much infant when it comes to all of these things. Now, if you live in the UK, straight on, I will encourage you to start a social enterprise separately from your business. The reason is because it will be tax efficient for you in the long term. Secondly, apart from being tax efficient, you can literally begin to do what you really want to do for the community from that standpoint. And again, attract funding, be much more relevant to the ecosystem and all that. So because it's not much of an infant stage industry compared to other West African economies, you find a position where you can easily find reward recognition, and that can add to your social capital as a brand. And that can also in turn impact on your business. So that's how best I would answer that question, So yeah. But if you have more questions, just come to my DM and send me a question. In Nigeria, there's no category for Maria is saying something. There's no category for social enterprise. And ASC model is both profiting and social enterprise. Yeah. So you could run it with that same structure. Now, let me also say it this way. Sometimes it's not just only in the structure, it's also in how you communicate your value. All right, how you communicate your value, how you throw content around it, how you pitch your business to institutional investors or to clients and all that. The overarching message here is people are going all out to work with brands that are increasingly becoming social conscious and socially relevant. All right, because consumers are now very picky. Cost of living crisis have made consumers very picky. They are no longer loyal to brands. So brands are only now working with vendors, institutions, or partnering people who are much more socially facing in the value proposition, even if that value proposition is still profit for profit. So when I say social enterprise, I'm not talking about NGO only. I'm also talking about a business that is positioned to support the social ecosystem with a business model. So and a very good example is Jobberman. All right, so Jobberman is making, a lot of you don't know, a lot of money, but the solution they are offering is youth unemployment. They are solving problems in informal economy and other than, and they are going so loud about it. One of their biggest funders is Mastercard Foundation. But guess what? A lot of Nigerian corporates hire people from the Jobberman recruitment portal. So you're doing business for business, but your big ticket focus is business for social change. And that's where the future is. And that's why Elon Musk is moving from just Tesla to joining politics, because he's now trying to do more for social change in code. Now, whatever that intention is, I'm not a big fan of him, by the way, but you need to begin to study how the world is going. There is no institution. Apple has a foundation. Samsung has a foundation. Zoom spent $3.6 billion last year on social impact. Yeah, you ask yourself, where are these people throwing those monies to? So there's a lot of money. If you live in the UK, you don't need to think too much. If you write to some of these corporates, even if they don't know you, write them a code mail. They will usually give you their office space for free. They will sponsor the launch and all that. You just do your Eventbrite, LinkedIn post, bring 50 people to the room, talk about something you're passionate about, but just ensure that you're moving from passion to what will really stir systemic change. And that's where the financial breakthrough is, if you want to go that route.
Oh, wow. Business for social change. You don't hear them. It is 11 o'clock here in Nigeria and 10 o'clock in the UK. Gospel, thank you so much for this. This is incredible. I think since I've been listening to you, this is the best. I thoroughly learned a lot, and it just shows that this year is more powerful. Cheers to bigger things. I will see you as we always see,
Yeah.
right? Everybody,
Thank you, man.
please Please help me appreciate gospel and thank him and thank him. Go and follow him and go and subscribe to his one-on-one consultation. And gospel will literally change
Thank you,
your
everyone.
life and the life of your business.
Thank you. Let
Thank
me
you
say
so much.
testimony, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
Kusha. Just
right.
a second. I met a woman in April who had gone through breast cancer, chemotherapy, and everything. She felt like she had lost it all. I met her in April and she just wanted to do something for more Black women in breast cancer, you know, and she was at the place where she was praying and trusting God. So we spoke in April and we put everything together and all that. And we put in an application for her. She wrote some funding and all of a sudden, it feels like the hope has come alive, where she can help. Now, she actually survived breast cancer, but the emotional toll, the mental toll, everything that happened, she wants to just be, you know, she wants to be in a position where she can help more people. And because breast cancer is also a major touchy subject, so her passion meets social correctness here now. You know, we're able to raise her some money, and now she's able to support more Black women who are going through chemotherapy or who haven't even done their checks. And it's a massive impact because you have a very gross underrepresentation of or support for breast cancer or Black women going through those, you know, trying times of their lives here in the UK. So I'm trying to say that within your story is the value for your adaptive intelligence and what God has in store. Thank you very much, Kushola. I'll call you tomorrow morning.
God bless you. Thank you. Oh my God. Gosh. I feel so blessed. And it's incredible. It is incredible. This year is your year. This year is my year. And I know that we are going to have a lot of, I mean, today is just the 4th of January. And look at the amount of information that we have received. For those on the challenge, look at the amount of information that you have taken in. Listen, remember we're talking about the 7 types of wealth on the challenge. Information and inspiration wealth is one of it. I think you're already operating in that type of wealth already. Maria says, let's start a vigil. My sister, I'm going to church. Actually, I must get to church by 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. Right? So see the amount of work and sacrifice that you put. Yes, Chizoba, I love the way you have captured all of the things gospel said. Within your story is an avenue of your adaptive intelligence. I think those are tweetable things. Please tag us on your stories. Tag Gospel Obele, Shalade Shak Instagram. One final appeal. I see that our YouTube page is moving. We are now at 9,800 and maybe 20 or so. Please, yes, 9,820. We need 180 people, 180 subscribers to move us to 10,000 subscribers. Make it happen now, today. Just wake somebody up, 5 people, everybody on this call. Yeah, follow this page, follow this page. And before I wake up tomorrow, let us see 10,000 subscribers. That would make a lot of, it would make my day and make, you know. Anyway, this is just a tip of the iceberg. This is our first call on the challenge. We're still going to dive deeper. We'll do a lot more. Trust me, when I sign and I say I am cheering you on to your financial success, if I didn't mean it last year, I mean it this year. I mean it. You are going to so it's a call. It's an admonition that the Lord Himself gave to me. And that I'm running with it as if my whole life depends on it. That's why for the challenge, don't think anything I'm putting there is, or we're just putting up the cut. I am the only person writing the content, and the team members are just looking at me like, coach. So I'm giving you 30 days of divine intel, right? Backed with prayers. And that's why the number one testimonial that you're going to have from the challenge is a mindset shift. And that's why we have mental wealth as well. 7 wealth. Should we say it for those who are not there? I've mentioned inspiration and information wealth. I've mentioned mental wealth. And I'm dropping a video tomorrow. I'm going to unravel a mystery in the entire 7 types of wealth. Those who are in my mastermind already told them about it. I gave them a few days to unravel. They couldn't unravel it. Oh, maybe I unraveled it in the workbook already. Yes, challenge is open. You can join anytime and you can catch up with the days. It's on our learning platform. The only thing you would have missed are the conversations, but you can start the challenge on day 0, and today is still the 4th. Technically, we have just done only 3 days. Well, plus day 0, 4 days. You can join, in fact, there's somebody, her husband joined, somebody, she signed up her child, somebody signed up his mother, if a friend signed up 3 friends, another friend signed up 5 friends. Listen, my closest friends on the challenge. This one is not, and they paid. This one is not, I know her. The number one miracle, take this to the bank, is the mindset shift. And if you can experience a mindset shift, 2025, your life done better. That's all. If your mindset can shift regarding your finances, that's it. And that's what's going to happen. And there's a lot ahead. Some of you will experience a kind of joy regarding your finances, the kind of results that you have never experienced. It's online. Victoria, she's asking what time the challenge takes place. We're on a WhatsApp group, 2 WhatsApp groups, the core WhatsApp group, the implementation group, and the learning materials are on our brand new learning platform. So every day there's a task, there's a resource, there's a video you can watch. You will do all of those things. All you need is 30 minutes a day at your place. And you come to the accountability implementation group to just say, I have done this. But beyond that, even the energy in the room, I'm learning. Where is the lady who is, raise your hand, please. There's a lady who has been submitting a report in a PowerPoint format. Where's she? Team, please. What's her name? What's the name of the person? Can you raise your hand, please? Whoever the person is. Oh, gosh. And I think they told me. I hope she's still here. I need us to hear from her just before she goes. Just before we go, where's the person? I'll just get her name. Are you on this call? If you're on this call, please raise your hand. The lady who is supposed to share it. Oh, is there anybody on the call? Is it Esther? Is there anybody on the call who wants to talk about the challenge very quickly? I know they gave me the name earlier on. Is it Esther Bernard? No. There was somebody who was supposed to talk. Oh my God. Where are my team members? The name. Oh, they shared the name earlier on. Oh gosh. Is this here still here? Our coordinator, the community coordinator. Chidi Bernard. Yeah, Chidi, are you there? Is she still here? Maybe she's gone to bed or something. But is anybody okay? Oh, Esther, I've seen you. Now I will ask you to unmute. All right. Now unmute yourself. I see you. Please go ahead. Where are you?
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
We
All
can
right,
hear
ma'am.
you.
Please, what was your question?
So, were you the one who wanted to give a testimonial about the challenge?
Yes, ma.
Uh,
I was the one, ma.
go ahead, please.
Okay, so the reason why I joined the challenge was for a mindset shift and also to work on my financial habits towards investing, saving, and spending. And so far, the journey has been nothing short of amazing. I have been receiving so much value. And my the day that stood out to me the most was yesterday when you talked about goal setting. I have never understood goal setting in that manner, the way you just broke down everything. And now I have set my goals in the 3 categories which you taught in the lesson. And I'm super, super grateful for this challenge, ma. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well done. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you,
God
ma.
bless you. Right.
Amen. Thank you.
Gosh, 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 gosh. My heart is full. And this is just day 3 of the challenge. I love you all and I'm committed to your success. After this challenge, you're still going to see me I'm just going to recoil. I need like 2 months to recover. So I'm putting in my blood, my time, and it is so tasking. Because I'm literally, I mean, this is not the first time we are doing a challenge, but this one I'm having to follow like an intel, like a direct guidance from God. And that's why it will change your life. Just commit to it. Well done, YouTube. We still have over 150 people. You guys blow my mind. I love you. By the time we, check out our results and compare results after the 30 days, some of you, you'll be amazed. And then at the end of the year, you will be more amazed. I'm going to give room for you to be able to talk but like we always do at our meetings, people will stay gist and gist and gist and gist. But see you the challenge tomorrow. Tomorrow's task will blow your mind. The video will encourage you. It's brilliant, right? God bless. See you within the challenge. See you at our next webinar. Take care. And don't forget, this year is a year of mega restoration. If you have not read the creed and the things that God has promised us for this year, please go and read them. There's going to be recovery, there's going to be restoration. Some of you, your long lost dreams, they are going to come back to life. Some of you are going to start new businesses literally from scratch. You're going to make millions. Can I share this testimony? I started my fragrance business called the House of Shifra just in September, 3 months ago. Listen, I looked at our figures and I'm like, no way, no, this is not us. I do not want to mention because this is public. I do not want to mention the amount, but gosh, 3 months. We launched on the 19th of September. By the end of December 2024, I had to pinch myself that no, we didn't do, and we have not even done a lot of marketing. That testimony will be replicated. Some of you will literally start chinchi business and you will rake in millions. Some of you will start food business. Some of you will start bread business, the basic things. Some of you will be connected to important people that will just elevate and transform you. Some of you will travel for the first time. Some of you will relocate and you don't even have the money. Another dimension of wealth that God says is giving us, you will live in houses that you did not build. You will ride in cars that you did not pay for. You will drink from vineyards that you did not plant. Not because you're cheating anybody, but you're going to enjoy the rewards of the seeds that you have sown in years before. It is a packed year. People say, I mean, look at gospel. Gospel has never shared scriptures in any of his presentations. I was pleasantly surprised when he shared a photo. He's a child of God, but you know what? He goes professional all the time. But look at the dimension. It's just really, really mind-blowing. And your testimonies will be full. Now I need to go. It is 11:05 here in Lagos. I brought people, Canada people, US people. God bless you. And come back with your testimonies. Let's go to the challenge group and let's go and make a lot of noise and go and drop the things that you learned. And of course, help us share this YouTube. Take us to 10,000 before I wake up. In this part of the world, YouTube is still going strong. God bless you. Get into the challenge. I love you and I am rooting for you. See you within the challenge and next time we talk. God bless. Get into the challenge. I love you and I am rooting for the challenge next time we talk. God bless.